Oh, yeah. What's going on, my sinners? Welcome back to the SYN Bin Podcast, episode 9. We're coming at you live and direct. I'm your host, Moodz. Yeah. And of course, I have all my sinners up in the house with me tonight. We got the Mexicant, also known as JP, Mr. Saucedo, also known as Tyler, Criterion Tyler. And we got Tony, the Shiner Hartman, back in the house. What's going on, my sinners? Yeah.
Yo, feels like it's been a while. It's always been the same amount of time, but it always feels like it's been a while.
I think it's always been like exactly about 4 weeks. So
yeah, I feel like we usually do it like
this gap's probably been the shortest, honestly, because it's the 19th.
You know what? You're right, actually, because the last episode came out a little bit later. So you're right. It does feel a little bit more condensed. So yeah. Yeah, episode 9 here, man. I noticed right away, man. I was, the other day I was doing some thinking. I was like, where the fuck is the Black Friday sale? But Vinegar Syndrome actually bumped it up this year. So it's like
the Black Friday pre-order
to November 1st. So I thought that was pretty interesting that they did. And what was the reason for that?
They said they had a really big October.
So that's what it was. And I was like, shit.
And they've just been doing more sales than normal.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had that rad sale and then a little slasher sale and something else. I think there was like an alien sale or something.
I've noticed that a lot of companies are doing more sales this year.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe
I'm
people
down
just
with
aren't buying
sales.
shit.
I was going to say it's a little worrisome because like usually when things start going on sales because they're not selling and then the sales are going down, I'm like, oh fuck.
Vinegar Syndrome has no fucking trouble selling shit because they're definitely selling so fast.
It's funny because certain things are. Remember when the VSA line first came out? The first like 10-15 releases like sold out so quickly. But if you look at their website, the last like probably you can still get those. I mean, they're limited to
you can't get that far back though.
No. Like I said, the first like 10, 12, they sold out like right away. But I think a lot of the newer ones are limited to higher numbers, like 35 to 4,000, 5. There's even 6,000 ones too. So,
did you guys see the new controversy from Vinegar Syndrome?
What do they do?
I'm one of those people that I don't really follow
the VSA. The latest VSA has a sticker where it's numbered, hand numbered. It used to be like built into the case.
Yep.
Now it's a sticker.
Yeah, and like if you look at these, which you won't be able to see this because it's probably hyper.
Because you picked a white one.
Yeah, I picked the fucking here. Oh, I gotta do it like no, I can't do that. Can't do it.
There, Tony got it.
Is it gonna show up? There you go. 791.
Yeah,
so
791.
So these are all hand numbered. Like that's actually done. That's actually done with a number. You got
it's
190
hand number.
I got 1230. Well, so this is 4,000. So all these numbers are so different, but they're all hand numbers. So are they still hand numbered with a sticker, or are they just?
They're still hand numbered, but it's a sticker. I don't know if it was just maybe like that one case. They didn't have it didn't come with it like built into the artwork, or if it's something new going forward.
So which is the movie? So it's obviously from the new bundle because I haven't had one of those yet.
What's the newest VSA? I forget what it is.
The newest VSA is.
I would look, but it's like far.
Don't you have your package yet?
Yeah, I do, but I'm doing an update, so I moved a lot of stuff. Yeah, I can't see it right now.
I know it's an Asian movie. I forgot what it's called.
Oh, is that the one? Okay. Shit, dude, I can't even remember what came out this. Okay, it's
Tony will know.
Is an eye for an eye?
Tony, what's the new VSA?
Eye for an eye?
What is these iPhones yet?
Is it eye for an eye, Tony?
Yep.
Yeah, check this out.
Oh, iPhone. Okay.
Oh, I can already tell it's a sticker that's so fucking gaudy.
Yeah, and it just has
not in a good John Gotti way either.
Did they say, Tony, if
yeah, I can see 151.
If they've commented on that.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't even know it was really a controversy.
See,
I just assumed it was just like a fuck up, and they're like, okay,
that's what I thought. Like that the artwork didn't have it built in, like they made a mistake, but
Yeah,
Right,
ordered.
I put
Why
money
would
on
it
it. It's a
even be-
fuck up.
Yeah.
Because you think about this, the first 47 editions are all the same. Why would they just all of a sudden? Why would that design be changed? It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense, right?
I mean, I don't. The only reason I could think that it would be a decision that they would change it for, like a reason would be that maybe they fuck up sometimes, and if you fuck up, you basically fuck up. You can't
Yeah.
erase it. You know
You know
what
what that
I mean?
reminds me of? That reminds me of when Scream Factory would have the odd release that would say Shout Factory on it, but it was a Scream Factory release.
Yeah.
And they would have
Yep.
Shout on the spine, and you're like, "What the fuck?" People are like,
Yeah,
"No, it's a Shout Factory." I'm like,
seen
"No,
a
it's
few
actually
things
Scream."
like that.
Yeah.
Quality control's never been their strong suit.
Oh God, it's been bad throughout the years, really bad.
When Psycho Cop Returns first came out, they sent it out with like a sleeve that didn't have like the reverse wrap on it, and I guess it was supposed to, so they just sent out replacement wraps. Like that's the only time they've like I've remembered them like having like a printing issue that they've actually replaced.
I actually in the
Dude, I don't
first,
even know if I knew about that because like I have that the vinegar. Like, what the fuck?
the first
It-
TV set that they put out, one of the titles, the back where it has like the description was like completely fucked on mine. Like it was like all like faded and like spotty.
Yeah, mine's not like that. That's crazy.
And they sent me a replacement.
Hmm.
But it was I was just like, this is weird because it was just like it looked really bad.
Wow.
But
yeah,
other than that, any other news from Vincent this past month?
Not really. I mean, we'll end up talking about what we're reviewing.
well, they
Next
just
month.
announced a new partner label today, Magnolia.
Did they?
Oh,
They announced
Magnolia?
them,
now?
and
So
they're
is
putting
that-
out a
Isn't
Murder
that
Party.
Magnet? Yeah, Magnet. That Magnolia had the sub label Magnet. Remember Magnet?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
their new
Murder
partner
Party.
label.
That's actually
That's
pretty
cool.
cool. So Murder Party will be coming from them then.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
that's
you know
an
what, man?
October title.
There's a lot of
Dude, there's a lot of good
Magnet
movies
titles.
that yeah,
They
Magnet
only
that
were on
released.
DVD too.
What's the what's the
Splinter was one, I think.
The
which
Splinter was
I've
one of
always
them?
been a fan of.
Mhm.
Troll Hunter, was that Magnet or was that
Yeah, it is.
IFC?
I have that. VHSs.
VHS.
I think Hobo with a Shotgun is.
Yeah,
Not the
maybe.
Can- not
There's
the
a
Canadian
bunch
version.
of good what other one? I know there's like a really good movie.
Return to Sleepaway Camp is a Magnet movie.
Oh God.
Actually, I think Hobo with a Shotgun was IFC.
What
I
is
think
the
about
what was the one that was done by
Fucking fact check Tyler.
Yeah, don't trust me on that one. Now I'm sketching myself out.
oh shit, I can't remember the name of the title now. It's driving me nuts. But yeah, they've released a
But-
bunch of really good stuff.
Okay, here's some that we could see. You got the Eyes of My Mother. That's one Moodz is a big fan of.
That's a cool one. That'd be a
Yeah,
cool thing.
I'd buy the
Come
shit
out.
out of that.
I love that
That's a
movie.
cool
Wrinkles the
movie.
Clown, don't recommend.
No, horrible.
Yeah, also don't recommend.
ABCs of Death.
Don't
Eh.
recommend.
I don't think I want you to own that.
The second one's better actually. What was the movie that was done by the Israelis? So it's got it's got
was
wolves in the
Sleep
title.
Tight Magnet or was that IFC? I always
IFC.
feel like
I think that's IFC.
What was the one that was done by the Israelis? The one with wolves in the title.
Big Bad Wolves.
Big Bad
Yeah,
Wolves.
dude.
Oh,
Big Bad Wolves. That movie's
That's a
fucking.
really good
Oh,
movie.
Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. That's a good one.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, I have
Hobo,
that one.
Hobo with a Shotgun was Magnet.
Yeah,
Okay,
so the
I can guess
Canadian,
myself.
there was a different. I had that awesome slipcover with
Bong
the
Joon
chainsaw.
Ho's
I-
the host.
Oh,
Or I mean, not the chainsaw, the lawnmower.
Rubber, Bad Milo. Oh, maybe we can get Goon in there. Goon was Magnet.
Was it
I
really?
hated
Solid
Rubber.
movie.
Oh, I
never
love
saw
Rubber.
it.
I love
I
Rubber.
hated the fuck out of that movie.
John dies at the end. That's another good one.
I was gonna say that, but I thought I was wrong because I think I have that one too.
The
Dude, I
Signal.
can't believe you didn't like Rubber out of all the movies, man. That's crazy. I love Rubber. It's great.
You know what?
Yeah,
I watched
well,
it when it
yeah.
first came out. Maybe it's due for a rewatch.
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure
it- I
that
think so.
director has like a big like Australian cult following. I think it's an Australian guy. It's like
I
quitting,
I can't remember what his name is
I
now.
don't know if I should
It's like
fact check
quitting,
you
like-
or just believe
No, I
you.
swear to God, it's like quitting like debut or something. I don't know. I can't remember right now.
What are you
Oh,
So
yeah.
the
talking about?
director,
You're just
like
making up stuff?
themselves, is
Yeah.
Australian. It seems like very like foreign.
The Sacrament. I mean, there's a lot of good movies.
Oh, the Sacrament. Yeah, I got
I
that.
mean, we have a
Survival
bunch of
of
those
the
already on
Dead.
Blu-ray, though. Yeah,
Oh, why don't
Quentin
I just? I literally have
Dupree.
my thing. Yeah.
Surveillance. I think that one was decent.
Okay, I can look at my collection, see what I own.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a French director, but I think he did
That Stage Fright film, is that a remake?
No,
Stage Fright. No, it's
Oh,
just
it's a
let the right,
musical.
Yeah.
let the right one in.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's a
hell
good-
yeah.
That's a that and that is that on Blu-ray? I don't think it is.
Yeah,
it
it
is.
is.
I have it.
It is. Okay.
I'm looking at the movies I own right now, like that I have on my little app. I saw The Devil,
Yep.
Bong Joon-ho's Mother, which is more of like a thriller, but it's a really good
We
movie.
covered
Oh,
it. It's good.
Mother's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it makes sense. The host, yeah, is my mother. Compliance. I don't know if it said that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but yeah,
There's-
it's like
Does Splinter have a
this-
Blu-ray?
No.
I don't own it, so I don't know.
I definitely
Those
have a
movies- and-
stack upstairs of magnets, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what I have, but I think a lot of them have been said.
Yeah,
Miracle-
but
Magnets
I
were
mean,
like imported
that's a
for me
pretty
because
cool-
all the releases that Magnet, it was kind of like the IFC thing. Like you guys would get IFC, but we get them released through a different company up here. It'd be like the same
Yeah.
release, but just not Magnet or whatever. Like the Hobo with a Shotgun, I got that awesome pop up slipcover with the prop and shit. That's
so
pretty cool.
there's definitely some potential with that line to release some
For sure.
stuff from the
Pick
mid
and choose.
2000s to 2015-ish. There's some
Right.
good stuff that never got on Blue that I wouldn't mind picking up.
I can't fucking believe how many sister labels are on this website right now. Like just looking at it,
Yep.
they actually changed the format on the website too. Kind of notable, but holy fuck, is it ever loaded? Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's definitely fun. I think October is going to be a crazy month from what it sounds like with between Partner Label and like Vinegar Syndrome. I think they said like 20-30 releases or something like that.
mhm.
Jesus.
But a lot of that's sister and like
Yeah, but I
It's
think
been-
it's
it's been
even
get-
like
it's
a
been
larger
dwindling for
month
me.
for Vincent themselves.
yeah.
Yeah, I've never been a big Partner Label buyer, honestly. Like I'll get the odd one here and there, but I'm
Like
not
I said, most of the labels that I was collecting, they don't release shit anymore. So it's
I
like
honestly am more of like a partner label and sub label collector, but I think that's just because I'm not a sub. That like when I'm just picking and choosing my favorites every month, it just
Have
like,
you
the way
decided
that-
yet this year?
I don't think it's for me to be a sub because I'm just I've noticed too, like I was
Even
like,
with
kind of like
buying the stuff that you have to for the show?
yeah, because if I just get the stuff I have to, a lot of the time, like it's not explicitly like just Vincent stuff. And like I don't mind just like like buying one a month or something. But there's like this month, like I like had to like make decisions and I only bought like 4 things total. And this was I think the best month of the year for releases too. But I was a little doughy-eyed at first and I was just like got excited and started buying a bunch of shit from partner labels I could have just waited on really. I got lucky that I decided to buy all like the stuff from Def Croc before they jumped ship though. That was like just a good shot in the dark. But yeah, it's not I don't unless I wanted to flip the stuff I got in, like it's not like worth it to me to get all that and like just so I can get like more partner and like sub label stuff half off. Like they're a company like I'm happy to buy from and rack up points from, but just being a sub isn't for me in particular.
Yeah, I
Gotcha.
definitely would not recommend that to you.
Yeah, I'll probably do it again because it's been very beneficial for this show. And I also usually buy the package anyway, so it does save me money in the
Yeah.
long run.
I mean,
And the thing I love about it is that 50% off for the other stuff. That's the biggest value to me.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the most appealing part to me. I
It's
collect
so
too much other stuff too that it's kind of hard for me to like get the full value out of it.
it would be super
Honestly,
beneficial for me to do it, but like I have a wife
She'll be
and like
mad.
doing that big one lump sum, she's like, what the fuck? You know, she'd be like, but
Yeah.
if I do it monthly, it's like, oh, okay. Well, she's like, you just spent like $450 on vinegar syndrome. I'm like, yeah, but it could have been this and that. But I
Um,
mean, it would be beneficial for me to do it. It's just, I don't know why.
so they
You know
said
why.
that they have 30 new titles between partner labels, Vincent and Melazine. So that's still, I think, more than normal.
They're probably going to
Yeah.
be, I would put maybe 6 Vinegar Syndrome and all
Yeah, I
their,
would say 6 is probably the max I've ever seen.
and that's total Vinegar Syndrome with all their different labels and stuff. But
Yeah,
like
well,
the sister
maybe
stuff would make up for it though. Like there's,
typically you get about 3 to 4 Vinegar Syndrome releases itself,
Mhm.
and then there's usually like a cinematograph. Sometimes there's the Gosser. I could see like probably like
well, like
7 to 10.
I
we
mean, I
better
don't,
get a degosser next month.
I mean, this month there was 6 total. I mean, for the full Vinegar Syndrome package, there's 6 titles. It's pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
and the one has 3 movies.
Yeah.
The Cruel Britannia
Yeah.
or whatever fuck that is. Um
Britannia, Cruel Britannia.
yeah,
UK
which is a
films,
pretty
man.
nice, pretty good quality set from my research.
I've only seen one of the 3 films. I don't really know the other 2, so but
Speaking of the new releases, I do want to just mention that this title here, Delirium photo of Gioia,
Joya,
Gioia,
Joya.
Lamberto Bava's film. I accidentally ordered an extra copy of this, so I do want to give this away to a listener. Nice little 4K there. So I think what I decided is we created a new feed for this show, the Sin Bin, on Spotify, and I'm sure it'll be on other platforms soon. But if you just want to rate us on either iTunes or Spotify, you get an entry for each. Because you can rate on Spotify now, I believe. So give us a rating, and I'll put everybody in a hat or whatever. We'll do a live draw on a future episode. So yes.
in
And I
one of your
just
fucking
damaged it.
horror beanies, in one of your horror beanies.
Yeah. Well, usually I take a cup or something and do it, but so I did just want to, so I didn't forget.
Right. But I think I don't really think there's much else.
Yeah. Did anybody leave? I don't think anybody left this month.
Yeah, that's usually a topic, isn't it?
Yeah,
Right.
but I'm pretty excited for the stuff for October. I mean, Murder Party alone, I love that movie. I'll
Mhm,
upgrade that.
for sure.
Is it
Never
coming?
seen it. I mean, now
Murder
we're
Party?
speculating because
Yeah.
it was a Magnolia. So
Well, I saw that it got announced for a Blu-ray, but I didn't know that it was through
I don't
Vinegar
think-
Syndrome.
I don't know
unless
if it
that's
did
not
say it
official.
was.
I was
I don't
gonna
think
say
that's
because
official.
if they just announced Magnet as
I
being a partner label, you think they would already start announcing
Maybe it's
titles
like-
that they're
Well-
releasing.
Justin La Liberty shared it, and he's like the Cinematographe guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I imagine it's probably. Oh, so he's the guy we should be bitching at then.
We'll get into this in a little bit here, man. We'll get.
No, honestly, dude, that I did buy the Go Fish one, the newest one. I thought that one sounded like pretty more interesting than the last couple for me. It's some like queer movie from the 90s that was like low budget. Sounds kind of interesting.
Hmm.
No.
Yeah, I skipped that one.
I mean,
Definitely not
it
my
came with the
wheelhouse.
package. It came with the package. No pun intended. But
Oh, so you did get it?
Yeah, passed on that one.
I see. I
But-
thought that one would be appealing to you, Tyler, because I don't know if you read the description, but it sounds kind of like art housey, like indie. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not. So here's the thing: there was kind of like there's not a ton of these films between like the mid '80s to like mid '90s. There's kind of like not a small amount of these like black and white, like low budget like art movies, and most of them I just don't think are good. I think Clerks is like by far the best one. That movie just did sound appealing
Well,
to me at
I'll
all.
check it out and I'll let you know how it is. Obviously, we're going to do a top 10 releases at the end of the year, probably in January. Or will we do it in December or January, you think?
I think it would actually do it in this.
We'd have to do it in January.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it would be
January, right?
January,
Yeah.
because the November releases we'd cover in December, and then they don't
Right.
release anything
Yeah.
in December, I think.
Right.
So yeah, we would do which is funny because I'm probably gonna have to watch a bunch of stuff that I got that I haven't watched to make a
Oh, yeah,
proper top
same.
10.
Oh well, I didn't even think about that. That'll give me a good reason to make sure that
I watch a lot. Like,
everything.
I try to make a point of watching. I mean, up to this point in the show, I think there's only 2 movies that I haven't seen that we've covered. I think one of them was
Well, yeah, the
Little
cover-
Darlings, and I think one that Tyler did too was like a weird Asian film that I never was
Well,
interested
like
in.
a partner label.
The one he
But,
gave
like-
a 10 out of 10 to.
The one I
Yeah.
give a 10 to.
So, but every
So-
other film that we've reviewed on, like I go out of my way to watch everything if I have them. So,
I assume we're allowing partner labels.
of course,
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the last time.
if there's still, I mean, it's so funny because your list could change so drastically, right? So, partner labels
I mean, for
started out
this
in the
one,
year.
I don't really think it matters if they leave or not, because
I don't think it
point of
matters.
If it's
is,
something that we
these are the
covered and they were
10
there at the time, yeah.
But
Yeah,
these are
it's
the
still
10
releases,
best
yeah.
releases that happened over the course of a year.
Yeah,
Right.
It
it's a
doesn't
little
really
different,
matter.
yeah.
Right. I was just trying to
It's a little
complicate things. I was just being a dick, man.
Yeah, I think the goal of the top 5 list was just to like use things that you could still buy like
right,
now.
as like a recommend type thing.
Yeah.
But this one is like after the year of
Yeah.
our journey, like what is the I mean, dude, there's some contenders for sure of stuff we've covered.
Oh,
I mean,
You
that
know,
movie,
let alone
that
the
movie
stuff
Bubble
that
Bath
we
would
did.
probably be a contender with me. Like I did like that movie.
Yeah.
That movie was good.
Yeah.
It was
and
a really
did
good
come out
release.
this year.
It was a really good release too. That's the thing. Like there might be other movies I liked more than it, but that had like some good short films on it. And one of the short films was like really interesting and like really cool. And I'm glad I got to see it.
yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty interesting. I can't wait for the Black Friday titles. I think they usually have some bangers at that point.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to get on those. And once you get that, you're gonna have to, watch all the titles, and
I've been saving all my points.
that might change your fucking ranking or your favorites.
I've been saving all
here.
my points for the Black Friday sale.
Yeah, I just dipped in on the like Terror Vision sale that just happened. I think it's still going on because like that I had stopped buying them for a while, and there was like a bunch that I wanted that I missed out on, like Hollow Gate.
I grabbed that
what are the
fucker
ones that I get
at HorrorCon in the summertime.
There's a few other ones that I grabbed that I $15 for them. That was a pretty
Yeah.
good price. Dante's Inferno, which I was sad that I missed out on the slip edition of that, but
I still never
well.
seen that one.
Yes, you have.
Joking, I'm fucking with you.
We covered it.
It's like a total inside joke, man.
There's like this dude that at work that delivers our package via FedEx, and he's like a big horror fan, and like we've gotten to like know each other pretty well. Like he literally like stops in like couple times a week, and he'll just stop and talk to me for like 15 minutes about
Nice.
stuff that he's been watching and stuff. But I thought that was real cool because he the reason I brought that up was we were talking about that Dante's Inferno movie because he says he likes older stuff, and I was like, I think we were talking about like the oldest thing that I watched that was really good, and that was one of them. What, 1911 or some shit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something
that's
like that.
super old.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
oldest thing I've watched that I think is like really good is probably like Voyage to the Moon,
What year's that?
1902. That's like
Yeah.
it's like 13 minutes long. Everyone should see it. It's
Oh,
like,
that doesn't count.
Yeah. So like
Yeah,
a
that
feature
was
length-
really cool.
That was a feature length in 1902.
I think like Dante's Inferno is probably
no,
the best.
but like you know
earliest
that
thing I've
like
seen.
pie, like that pie face like you see a lot of the times. It's in like Lords of Salem and like and Rob Zombie's wife's bedroom.
Yeah.
You ever see that like Pie Moon? That's like what it's from.
Yeah.
The 1902 short film.
I'm pretty
So,
sure
like,
I watched
that's
that in film class one time.
Yeah, I
I'm
watched.
pretty
I
fucking
watched it in
sure.
film class. I had a
Yeah,
film class. That was the
I'm
first thing
positive
they
I saw it.
showed
Yeah.
us. Yeah, they showed us Metropolis too, and that's something I like literally never would have watched. And they like made me sit down and watch this 2.5 hour silent movie, and I was like, "This is a
I mean,
masterpiece
Cabinet of Dr.
of shit."
Caligari is like legit.
Yeah,
great.
that's probably the
It's
oldest
so good.
movie. That's the oldest
That
movie I've
and
seen that I think is like
Nosferatu,
really good.
probably.
Yeah, my favorite movie
And
from
Phantom's
that era.
Carriage.
Phantom Carriage, man.
Phantom Carriage is my favorite movie from that era. He made another
Dude.
movie like 7 years later called The Wind. That's like a horror western, and it's just as good as Phantom Carriage. It's like
What's it called?
absolutely insane.
The
The
Wind.
Wind.
Oh,
It's like actually insane.
crazy. Yeah, I gotta say,
So-
JP, this movie Go Fish doesn't look as intriguing as Mysterious Skin is.
What's
Mysterious Skin's
Mysterious
so good.
Skin?
I knew out of
So
all,
good.
everyone here, Tyler would have seen Mysterious
Mysterious Skin is like, oh my god! I might like, I gotta watch. I've only seen it once. That's like a movie that like,
It's
should be, like, a
legit
10.
an amazing
That could be a
indie
10 for
film.
me when I watch it again. It's so good. You have to see Mysterious Skin.
I only said that because it deals with kind of, I'm assuming the same
Oh,
subject matter, right?
my God.
But Mysterious
It was one of
Skin's
the
pretty wild.
Hardest, like most like heartbreaking gut punches you'll ever see in your life.
All right.
Sounds great.
Oh, right my alley.
All right. Well, we'll find out. I'll watch Go Fish at some point and I'll report back. I mean, Moodz, you'll probably watch it too.
Oh,
since you
yeah.
have it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, man, in Mysterious Skin. He just,
Oh my
ever
God.
since I saw that movie, I was never able to look at him the same. Because it was just like
Yeah.
such a crazy, because when it came out, I think it was just coming off like Third Rock from the Sun and shit like that. Like this
He was
is
young.
early. Yeah, he was
He was a
young,
kid.
and it's like you see him in that, and then you see him in this, you're like, holy fuck. It's quite a role. It's quite a character he plays, but anyways, you guys want to get into these reviews or what?
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right,
I
so
suppose.
pre-game, I did a quick little randomizer, and the order is going to be Tony, me, JP, and Tyler at the end again to put
Son
everyone.
of a bitch.
I feel like I'm always 2 or 3.
I know it's
I
weird.
feel like I'm always 2 or 3.
I was
I'm
too.
always first or last.
I don't
You know
think
what's-
I've ever been last.
That's what.
You know what's funny?
I-
Because last week I think JP you were third and I was second, and I think Tyler was first and Tony was last. Was it?
Is it the exact same this week?
I think we like flip flop each other.
Yeah, because me and
What did I do
JP are the
last
same.
month?
I think we were 2 and 3.
What did I do last month?
I feel like
We're
you were
first.
last.
Oh yeah, I was first. Yeah, I was first. I
Yeah,
forgot
and
what
Tony
it
was
counted
last.
as a movie.
I
So
was
you guys
last
flip
because
flopped
I
and we
feel like
stayed
I
the
was
same.
like drunk when I was like
Yeah.
talking, and I don't.
And I know
remember,
I've been.
like,
I
anything
know I
was
was.
saying.
I know I was first for Lily Choo Choo also. So I've been first at least twice. So I'm just
I've
gonna
only
back
been
the line
first
again.
for the first one, I think, which was Little Darlings or something.
It's totally all random, legit.
Well, the first time I think we didn't randomize it. I think I just said I would go first.
Yeah, probably.
Or was it Gun for Jennifer? I can't remember. Anyway,
Gun for Jennifer.
yeah. Okay, so
Tony, what do you got for us?
Well, the movie that I picked this week is Love on Delivery, which is a 1994 action like comedy from Hong Kong starring Stephen Chow.
this is the only
Who-
one I didn't get to, by the way.
Oh man,
Bummer, because it's actually a lot of fun.
Really?
this movie is so fucking funny. I was laughing through the whole fucking thing, man.
Yeah, like honestly, like it's basically like a giant slapstick, almost like comic book version of like the Karate Kid.
Yeah.
So Stephen Chow, who you'd probably like mostly know him from like Kung Fu Hustle or like Shaolin Soccer. Like those are probably the most popular movies in this country that he's in.
Yeah.
He plays a delivery boy called Ho, and he like on his bicycle like delivers like pork buns and shit. But one day he goes to make a delivery at what? He goes
It's
to
always
make-
pork buns, dude.
It's
Well-
good, man.
his bike has like a steam box on the back of it. Like it literally is like a pork bun or whatever. But yeah, he goes to like a gym to go deliver, and as he's going to make a delivery, there's this girl there who's either named Lily if you look at the back of the Blu-ray case, or Lie if you're watching the movie. She's she's being like harassed by a guy called Black Bear, who's basically the judo leader of like a division of this gym, and he's been like harassing her since the beginning of the movie. But when Ho shows up, she kisses him to like make the other dude jealous. So then, of course, Ho like falls in love with her and he starts obsessing about her. Meanwhile, Black Bear, this super like aggro, like an 80s, he's almost like an 80s generic like jock character, except he's like really ugly.
Yeah.
But so
He's an alpha male, man.
yeah, he's like a total alpha male. So basically what happens is Ho is following Lai around, and she mentions that she likes this pop star called Jackie Chung, which I actually had to look up. He's like a legit like mega star, like pop star of like Hong Kong back in the 80s and 90s.
Dude, I thought they were
And
just putting a play on Jackie Chan. Like,
I thought
I think
too.
that's just us being like racist or something.
No, like it fucking sounds, because it's a comedy, right? Like that's what they do. You put spin on shit.
That's Dragon Ball Z. There's a character named Jackie Chung, I think, as well.
Well, I mean, honestly, like we were kind of racist in the 80s and whatnot, because like most of Jackie Chan's movies wasn't he just dubbed and named Jackie in most of his like movies, like the American versions?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I always
probably.
watch them dubbed. I love them dubbed.
Yeah, me too. Well, anyways, saves up enough money to get these tickets, and as he's about to like proclaim his love for this Lie, he basically gets embarrassed in front of like the public by Black Bear, and in turn that basically just makes him want to become a badass and powerful so he can be strong enough to make Lai love her. So he goes and he's basically he's walking down the road and he sees just this billboard inside the road being like, have courage, kick ass type, basically just propaganda. So he goes to this store and it's just this loser old man who's just running this bodega, and he's just an absolute con man. Like Ho is just an ignorant. He's just like he's a loser basically, just a loner loser. He's afraid of everything, and
So he's like
he
Jamie
gets
then.
basically. That would be funny if Jeremy was swindled into doing some like crazy martial arts. But
Have you
yeah,
guys ever seen The Art of Self-Defense?
No,
That Jesse Eisenberg movie?
No.
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 I think I watched it at like a convention when I like at night, like after like I was just like went back to the room and was flipping through the channels and it just came on. Dude, that movie is fucking great. It is so funny and great. Watch it if you've never seen it.
What, is Jesse Eisenberg a badass in it?
No, he's a fucking loser and he gets bullied and
So he
wants
plays
to, like,
himself?
he wants to learn how to defend himself. So he goes to this like martial arts dojo with this guy who takes it super fucking serious. I think is it Danny McBride? Can't even remember.
That sounds like the guy that would play a role like that.
Yeah, and he's like taking it super serious, and then Jesse Eisenberg like takes it super serious, and then it kind of gets dark a little bit too. But it's fucking awesome if you've never seen it. Definitely.
That's honestly kind of like eerily close to this one.
I know, it was reminding me of it.
Because this guy, what the hell's his name? He calls himself the Devilish Muscle Man. He's like, that's literally the one name he gives himself in this movie. He starts like saying, he gives them like all these like martial arts techniques that are really fucking stupid, like sticking your hand in sand like this, and he's like, I'm gonna teach you this for $800, or I'm just gonna like spin on this little top, and it's like a $1,200 lesson. But Ho's an idiot, so he of course he like agrees to all these stupid little like lessons, and he goes to challenge Black Bear. But during this training, he also tells him that like he has to wear a mask because it'll make him more powerful. So during this fight, Ho puts on a Garfield bag. It's like a purse or something. Like I don't understand like what the fuck kind of mask this is that he wears, but yeah, he wears a Garfield mask
I
and
think it was supposed to be like the Garfield doll or the little stuffy that he had, but it didn't
but
make
like
any
he
sense. It didn't make
like
any
it's a
sense. It would,
puppet that he
yeah,
just like sticks the ass like over his head.
because remember at the point where he gives Lai that present and she throws it out the window or whatever, and you see it gets revealed that it's Garfield.
I
Oh
thought it was
It's
yeah.
like,
Lily.
but it's like a little stuffy, but it wouldn't make sense. It would actually fit on his head that big, but it was supposed to be that. It's kind of part of the joke. It's funny. I laughed.
But But yeah, anyways, like with this Garfield mask on, no one knows that it's him. And Black Bear goes to kick his ass. And honestly, he keeps kicking his ass, but Ho keeps getting back up because the reason why he wants to be powerful is because he flinches a lot. And he's like, they call him a coward because, like, when you go to throw a punch, he just like cowers down like an idiot. So during this battle, he keeps getting up. And then eventually he performs this move that the devilish muscle man taught him called the invincible flamethrower, where you like grab a guy and you basically just roll down a giant flight of stairs. And he did that to him and won the battle. So basically, so he saves the day, I guess, and no one knows that it's him. So the next day, Lily is like going around trying to figure out who it is, and every fucking guy in Hong Kong is putting on the most makeshift, shitty, like Garfield masks. Like we have like plastic
Oh
masks, like
fuck, that's funny.
paper masks, and there's like a legion of like horny Garfields that are chasing her around town one day. But Ho, of course, is too bashful to say like that it actually is him. And then it turns out that this giant, really badass, like karate master who was like childhood friends with Lily slash Lai comes into town, claims himself as the Garfield hero. And then it turns out that him and Ho start having a rivalry, and then they get challenged to a tournament, kind of like Karate Kid style. So yeah, that I mean that's basically just like the plot of this movie. But honestly, like this movie is kind of like a spoof. There's like so many pop culture references in it. Like the first time you meet Ho, there's like this Terminator like intro where
Dude,
Lily like
I
opens.
actually had to pause it. I was laughing so fucking hard at that Terminator spoof. I was pissing myself. I was like,
Was
it
it
was
like
done. Okay, that's one thing about this movie. I thought the editing was so fucking fantastic, but that just goes to prove how fucking funny editing can make in a film. Like literally, you have the spoof behind you over your fucking right shoulder right now.
Oh yeah.
It's
was
so
it like the
I
was it like
laughed
the
so
intro
fucking
music?
hard. I laughed. No, dude, it's literally the scene in Terminator when he's kneeling down and he rises up all naked and shit. And then the
Yeah.
reveal of that scene had me in fucking stitches, dude. I was pissing myself, man. It
Oh
was
yeah, I'll
so
just
good.
tell you. So basically like Lily like opens up the door to her locker and she's like, "I wish I could find like a real man." And she's like staring into a giant fucking Terminator poster in her locker. Like why the fuck would she have just the giant Terminator poster in her locker? But
Yeah.
it just like slowly zooms in like on Arnold Schwarzenegger's face, and then it cuts to like a night scene like out of the blue with like all the electric like static electricity and like the papers flowing like the Terminator. And then all of a sudden you see a naked guy like hunched down. And as he gets up, you find out that it's Ho and he's been robbed. And like the cops like walk up to her like they like robbed him naked. So you think that it's just like a
I
complete
was fucking
badass.
dying.
Oh
Such a
my god,
good
but
gag.
he's such a loser because like during this whole scene, he's talking about how like, oh, they made me take my clothes off, but then I gave him my wallet because I wanted to be a good citizen, and then I gave him my underwear because you might as well just finish the job, right? So he's just like undressing himself completely just because why the fuck not? They might as well just gonna make me do this. He's like one of those guys where like the unluckiest shit happens to him.
Right.
But this movie's like really fucking funny. Like there's
It
a
is.
lot of funny like
That's it.
slapstick moments
Sometimes
in
with
it.
like foreign films, like comedies, sometimes it doesn't translate well, but I feel like the Hong Kong um comedy always seems to translate well for me.
This is it's because it's not like punchline like it doesn't have like inside like regional jokes and stuff. Like they're
Yeah,
spoofing
it's
a lot of
just
stuff here. It's
it's like goofy
slapstick
shit happening.
and like you understand everything that's happening, but like the editing, man, it was fucking killing me, dude. I was dying, and I'm sure I missed a lot because I was pissing myself. I was like, oh my god, this movie is so fucking funny. I
I
couldn't
know
believe
there's
it,
so
dude.
many funny, like weird, like homages. Like there's this really funny, like John Woo dream sequence
Yeah.
where like where Ho is like walking towards Lily, and all of a sudden, literally out of the blue, she just pulls out a gun and starts shooting him in slow motion. And
Yeah.
like all these like birds start flying like fucking out of everywhere, just like any John Woo movie. It was fucking hilarious. I swear, like the funniest scene in this movie, he like falls over this fence and his hand like lands in this big old pile of dog shit. And
Dude,
he's like trying to like wipe it off his hands while like Lily's coming to like say hi. So he's like trying to like to keep his shitty hands out of the way. But then like she's like trying to take his hand, and as he's going to like shake her hand, like the bully Black Bear comes and shakes his hand instead.
and they
And he's
set that
all
up good in the film too, because like apparently in Hong Kong they shake hands. Right? So they set that up previously with shaking hands, and then I was like, oh shit, that's really funny how they did that. But like, yeah, you're right. When he falls over the fence, dude, that editing with the bus pass, I fucking started dying. So because you don't even see it happening, you're like, oh my god, and it's edited so fucking crisp, man. You're just like, oh my god, it's so
yeah,
good.
because it's like a literal split second. Like he's
Yeah, man.
standing, bus, he's on his face.
His feet are hanging up on the bars. You're just like, oh my god, it's clowny, but it's so good, man. Oh man.
One thing I also loved about Ho in this movie is that he like always walked around with like LA lights on. Like that
Yeah.
shit was like
Yeah.
so fucking 90s, and I was like so nostalgic for that. Like I wonder, do they still make LA lights? I rocked the
What the hell
fuck
is
out of
the LA light?
You don't remember that shit? They're like the shoes that had like the little lights up like every time you take a step in the back.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love those.
And people were killing for those back in the day too. It's
I
crazy.
thought those was like a little child thing. They don't make those
Yeah.
anymore?
They probably still make them for kids. But yeah, he was wearing some full-blown adult like LA lights in this movie. It was pretty awesome.
Shit, let's bring those back, man.
Shit, I would. But yeah, like there's like a Sonic the Hedgehog moment. Like I mentioned that invincible like fireball where he like rolls that guy down the flight of
That's
stairs.
exactly what I called it too. That's
It
funny.
literally is a Sonic the Hedgehog moment because
Yeah.
like the music becomes like super fast paced and techno and like
Yeah.
super like Sonic the Hedgehog like as he's like rolling down the stairs.
Yeah.
Like these the fights in this movie are really fucking out of this world. Like really, there's like people getting thrown through walls. Like at the end, like during like the big tournament match, like there's a scene where people like bum rush the ring and the people are literally just getting tossed out of the ring in like fucking droves. Like people are just getting rained out. Like because like one strike will knock like five guys like 20 feet out of the way. It's really cool. But yeah, like honestly, like I really had a good time with this movie. It's just a really, really solid movie. I could probably throw this on anytime.
Damn, I missed out.
Yeah, I would really recommend this to you. Like anybody that just like sports movies, like martial arts movies, like slapstick comedies, like seriously, like this is
Yeah.
a 90s comedy. Like if you love shit like Jim Carrey, like super animated actors, like Stephen Chow is probably like the Hong Kong Jim Carrey, if we're being honest.
Yeah,
Did-
this was
did
a
you watch
movie
this
I
one, Tyler?
considered. No, this is well, this is the thing. Like, this was a movie I like when I was looking for what I might want this month. This was actually a movie I was looking at, but this month was just so strong that there's like so much stuff I wanted to buy. It's just I made a promise to myself I wasn't just gonna buy everything. Like like I was.
Stop making
year.
promises to yourself. Just buy
No,
everything.
so like
damn it.
I did like I behaved and I kept it to like 4 things, and it just like this just ended up on the outside. But this is like definitely something I'm gonna monitor and like want to buy like when I have the chance to. It might even be something I pick up at Wasteland.
Honestly, if I'm
Yeah, I feel
like
like
if I'm
Wasteland gives you freedom to like splurge a little
Yeah,
bit.
because I'm bringing like money I put aside like for a while ago. Like I just like I won the money and then I just put it aside and like this is what I'm gonna spend on movies at Wasteland. So like I can do whatever I want. But that's something I might even pick up there.
and honestly, this might be my favorite VSA of the year. Like I think I liked it more than the Black Cat movies.
Was
Yeah,
Gun,
that's
Gun for
one.
Jennifer was not this year, but that would have been my favorite since
Yeah,
we've
I
done
would
this show.
I would really like to get Black Cat movies if I had the chance to.
I
Black
can't
Cat
even
was
remember.
VSA?
Yeah, I can't remember what other VSAs came out this year.
There was the one that like JP watched but he didn't review. I forgot what it was called.
Oh
That
yeah,
he was a little
Lifeline.
lukewarm on. Lifeline.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
one
one.
was okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
that
get
one
to
like
that
looked
one.
interesting to me.
Yeah,
But
that one, like I said, Gun for Jennifer doesn't count, but that's a really fucking good one.
yeah, I really
Uh,
love that movie. I would honestly probably put that one over this one.
yeah,
But
I can't really think of a lot of
Two totally
Moodz.
different realms.
What
Oh, Gun for Jennifer and Love on Delivery.
Yeah.
what would you you've probably watched a bunch of VSAs. Tony said this is probably his favorite one this year. What about you?
I don't think I've really like watched many VSAs this year, honestly. I haven't really like grabbed that many of them. I think Gun for Jennifer might actually be the last one I watched.
Um,
pretty good variety, honestly. I mean, it's half Hong Kong, so if you're into that, that's a
Yeah,
thing.
they like there's some the VSAs are something I've always like typically picked up, but like I usually wait till they're half off. Most of them make it to that. I'm like the Black Cat was something that really had my eye, and I'm like disappointed that sold out.
I
I
mean,
can't
I
believe
reviewed,
that sold out that fast.
I
Yeah, that's
reviewed,
something. If that's at Wasteland, I will snap by it. Like last year, they had the out of print Roadhouse like VSU, and I
so the
snapped by
ones that
it.
are available this year would be The Untold Story 2, which I haven't watched
I
that.
have that. Yeah, I haven't
Was that
watched it yet.
that
I
was
picked
this
that one
year?
up.
That wasn't this year.
No,
It
yeah,
came
that
out.
was last year. Was
Oh,
Gun
so
for
that was the
Jennifer,
same month
right?
as A Gun for Jennifer?
Yeah, I believe they were in November.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I-
Black Cat.
I
Okay,
picked those. Yeah, I picked those up at the archive store
all right.
together.
So I mean, I've seen Untold Story 2. We covered it on the podcast, but yeah. So
I-
Black Cat 1 and 2, I watched. A Man Called Hero, I never saw, but The Instructor I reviewed on here also with Black Cat 1 and 2.
Yeah, the instructor
Lifeline,
was great.
I
I would
didn't
pick up that
watch.
one too.
I also reviewed They Call Me Macho Woman. That was fun. The one, My Father is a Hero, I'm not really too sure about that one. I've never even heard of that Jet Li film before, to be honest.
It's The Enforcer. That was the name of the movie over for us. Like we never
Okay.
knew it as My Father the Hero.
Okay. So
I never saw it, but yeah, that's something
I think
found
I've
out.
covered every sub label as my main review.
yeah, I've done to Geyser, I've done
VSL,
VSA.
I've done to Geyser.
I've
wait,
done Film
have I?
Movement and I've
It's,
done
you did Cinematographe. Do you do Geyser?
sub labels. Yeah, I just did Cinematographe, I think. I did a VSL too.
Well, we did Southern Comfort.
Yeah, we did that. The Polish one was the VSL.
Interrogation.
Yeah, that was a VSL.
Yeah, I did 5-card stud.
5-card stud, that was a VSL. Yep.
And then I did the what was the Gosser? The Ripper.
Mhm.
And then I've done the first Cinematograph, which is Little Darlings, and then I've done regular the only thing I haven't done is the VSP, if you count those.
Well, I don't think you've done a VSA either, have you?
Yeah, I Gun for Jennifer.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hmm.
VSPs, like how many of those have even come out this year?
8. Well, 2 this year, I think. 2 or 3 this year.
Yeah, because that Riddle of Fire, did you guys even watch that?
No, I didn't pick it up.
No, I own it, but I have not watched it.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious about
I
that
think-
one. I'm
Yeah,
trying
that
to
one
see what
sounded
people think.
kind of cool.
Did Sick of Myself came out last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
was
watched that
great.
one.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
What was
Yeah,
gonna
I only
say?
have the first 4. I don't have the last 3 of them.
Eight Eyes was recently.
Is that movie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Never grabbed it.
Is that movie One-Eyed Susan or something? Gonna be a VSP?
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, I
Because
saw that. That movie was pretty good.
okay. Yeah, I'm stoked about that one. I like Scooter McRae. I like Shatter Dead a lot. And 16 Tongues, was that him too?
I don't know. I've never seen a movie. I don't think I've ever seen a movie by him, but this was one of the movies I watched. I got to watch for Fantasia.
Which
It
we
was pretty
fucking
good.
totally failed on.
Yeah, I got bored of it. Honestly, the thing is, like, I requested a bunch of stuff, and they either just didn't get back to me, or they told me no. And it
Yeah,
was
it's
like,
tough. It's tough. It's very tough to like stay. Like they have
Yeah.
so many people. Like I think they told me one time that they literally have hundreds of people that get approved.
yeah, that's probably like nothing.
But anyway, Tony.
Oh yeah, so Love on Delivery. I highly recommend this movie. It's hilarious. The fight scenes are awesome. Like it if gore is like your thing, then that's like the one thing this movie doesn't offer. But yeah, like I would recommend this to people, especially if you like comedies of the 90s. Like it really felt like it fits perfectly in that family. Like I could watch this with like a fucking Chris Farley movie and it would fit in perfectly. But in terms of special features, there's a commentary track with martial arts film historian Frank Jang and film producer FJ DeSanto, which I didn't get to because I'm a loser when it comes to commentaries. I just don't want to watch a movie like multiple times.
Dude,
That's
Yeah, I
all you
feel
do,
ya.
bro, this is what you do. You just fucking turn it on and do something in the background, like make a list of 92 movies or do some shopping or you know what I mean? Like just that's how I do the commentaries. I just turn it on in the background.
honestly one thing I
Yeah,
could do is I could like rip the audio and just listen to it at work or something.
That's what Dave does, Parker.
That's smart.
I'm too lazy for
I'm
that.
weird with the commentaries, man. I like to watch what's going on with the commentary because it's more it's like just hearing that
Yeah,
and seeing the
that's when I
visual
do
too.
this.
Like I correlate with it. I don't know. It
I
just
feel like
it's
when
better.
if you've just watched the movie though, it's like with Little Darlings, there's like 2 commentaries. Like I was like, you know, it's I don't need to see the movie.
I like
Again,
imagining
Right.
you like watch that movie like 4 times in a row while listening to like 4 different commentaries.
Yeah, I've done that a few times with movies. Like I remember with like the Hostel movies when we covered that, I watched like all 3 commentaries that was on there.
Oh yeah, you could tell, man. You were riding Eli's
I'll
Eli's
usually.
cock
It's not
on.
I
even
only
Eli
do it-
Roth. Like I just love I think Hostel is just like one of the best movies of that era, you know.
Yeah, that's
I just
something
love
I've
that.
done.
I'm with you. I
as
love
well,
Hostel.
For like, I'll put it on the background, especially if I'm like cleaning that room. Like I always put on a movie with a commentary, but like I always pick a movie like I know like very very well.
Yeah, sometimes I'll like just throw a commentary on and play like Nintendo Switch or something too.
Oh,
That's how I kind of do.
Yeah, I'm
mine.
with Tyler. Like the only time I'll ever throw on like commentaries if it's something I've seen at least like 5 times.
yeah, where it's like you don't have to watch it. You know exactly what's going on.
The thing is like with this show, like it made me like I try to watch the commentaries because I feel like I don't do that, and I always loved them growing up. Like when I first started getting into collecting, I would listen to all my commentaries, and
Yeah, I used to
I
listen to
kind
the
of just
Spring Factory
completely
ones a
like
lot.
fell off of that. So I kind of try to at least do. Like,
Remember when you listened to like
Yeah.
4 different commentaries on what was the Toby Hooper film?
Life Force.
Oh, Life Force.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, that was the worst. Dude.
It was Life Force, right? I was
4
kept
times?
thinking Toby
Three-
Hooper.
That
There's
movie,
3
isn't that movie
commentaries
like
on
2
that.
hours
Yeah,
long?
he watched it 4 times. I'm like,
Yeah,
and he doesn't even like the movie
my
that much.
God. That movie
Yeah,
was
it was
fine,
brutal.
but like 4 times in a row. Jesus.
Yeah, it was Life Force. I was thinking something else, but yeah, I was
It's
like,
not
it
a
was
short
Fear Factor.
movie either. That's
No,
like
it's painful. The only thing good about that movie is I forget that
The-
actress's name, but
the one that's naked the whole movie.
Yeah, literally the whole movie.
she
Yeah.
has like
Yeah.
fantastic boobs, you know, so
Yeah.
made it like more tolerable. But yeah, that's a movie that like as much as I love Tobe Hooper, that's that's like my least fucking favorite movie is. I think I'd rather watch Mortuary 4 times in a row than Life Force.
No,
That is fucking insanity.
you're
Well, I like
you're pushing it.
Mortuary, so
Toolbox Murders remake.
I like the
I
Toolbox
like
Murders
that
remake.
I
Yeah,
don't.
that movie.
I don't.
It's
I
just a
don't.
fun.
I actually
2000s
like the
slasher.
I like the sequel of the remake better than the Toby Hooper remake.
I haven't watched that one.
I actually don't mind it. It's okay. Oddly enough, Screen Factory actually released that.
Yeah, that
Fucking
was
weird.
one of their like before like they were like we're just an IFC partner label now.
Yeah.
Like that was one of their like IFC movies they put
I don't
out.
know. Just yeah.
I remember you always used to like review those and they were always like terrible and Jeremy would always get mad about them.
what, the IFC Midnights?
Yeah, the IFC Midnights.
Dude, there's a lot of great movies under that line.
Yeah, and there's a lot of bad ones
you
too.
Had a,
There's
you
a
had
lot of bad
whatever
ones.
you had a long string of like getting bad ones in a row. It was the
Yeah.
one Scream Factory was putting out. It was like
Oh, when that era, once the Scream Factory era started, the IFC quality definitely dipped. But like the early days of IFC Midnight, there's some great movies.
No,
yeah,
there is.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I
It was like
loved
this.
the Scream Factory era of IFC because my local theater got all of them. Like I got to see like all of those in the theater, and it was
That's
a really cool nostalgic
Crazy.
time.
Crazy.
Well, anyways, there was also a 20-minute interview with the director Lick Chi Lee, where basically he goes like over his entire like history with Stephen Chow. They had like a really long like working history before they like both broke out in films. They were doing like TV shows and dramas and all this shit before like all that. And then he also talked about like the making of the movie. And one of the most like interesting things he said about it was that like the invincible fireball that they do down the stairs, he said were actually like two stuntmen. It wasn't like a fake thing. And
You
that
can
like
tell- you can
blew
tell
my
it's real.
fucking mind.
Yeah.
That's so fucking crazy that two people just decided that that was a cool thing to do. That's so dangerous and fucked up.
But they're like perfectly balled up. Like it must have just like I don't know, man. Like I kept thinking to myself too and going, that looks pretty fucking real. Like it's gotta hurt though. Like, obviously it's not, man. But
Yeah,
Jesus,
had to
dude.
fucking kill real. Then that was like
But they're
such
going
a
down
huge
concrete
flight
ste-
of stairs.
yeah, dude, it's like fuck. It must be like 40 flights of stairs. It's crazy.
It was fucking insane.
It's literally. It's so. I'm so happy that you brought up the Sonic thing because I'm watching this going. This is fucking Sonic the Hedgehog. Like
what
literally
year did Sonic come out? It was like 92.
just before.
or 3 or
Just
something.
before that.
yeah,
Yeah.
early 90s sometime.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hoping there'd be like a few rings in there or some shit.
That
And I
would
wouldn't
have
have. It,
that
it
would have been
fit
so
perfectly.
good. That would have been so good. Considering he was like, fighting for this girl and stuff. If he had to given her a ring early in the film and something happened, it went up in the air and they balled through it, it would have been fucking a great
Oh,
gag.
that would have been fucking incredible.
That would have been incredible, man. Yeah.
Damn.
Missed opportunity, I guess, but whatever. Can't think of it all.
There's also a video essay by film historian and author Grady Hendrix about basically it's just like a timeline of like Stephen Chow's career, which is pretty interesting. And I like Grady Hendrix. He's got a nice, like super cheery voice. So that was just whatever. It was like that was like a 20-minute thing. Like if you're not really like very well versed in Stephen Chow, like it's a really good special feature to have, honestly. Like it
I honestly
made me want to
think
check out more of his shit.
I think the video essays are like my favorite type of special feature.
This one
Yeah.
actually has 2 video essays.
I delved into those on the Red Rock release, and they were pretty much just like the essays in the book in video form.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
I don't like reading.
I mean, like it's cool they have them, but like a lot of them are really they just like talk about the subgenre they're in, and like the other movies that are like it that came before and after it, and it's like.
Right, like the thing about the Grady Hendrix thing, it's like really it's something that any of us can just look up on fucking Wikipedia, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or just anything. Like he's just like basically just laying it out in a 20-minute video. And if you're not trying to like put in the work to like look into this dude's filmography, then it's pretty cool. But then there's another one about the collaborations of Stephen Chow and Lick Chi Lee by author and podcaster Mike White, which is basically the same thing as it's like a mixture between the Grady Hendrix like video essay in the actual interview with like Chi Lee, where it's literally just like a video essay about the shit that Lick Chi Lee was talking about himself and Stephen Chow like doing like their TV shows and shit. I thought that was a really interesting and almost worthless like special feature on this. But I mean, overall, like I think it's a really good package. Like, of course, you got like the poster and the shit with the VSA, and I do really love the artwork on this box. I like how super flashy and neon it is.
Really good.
And I do really love like just like the regular poster of this. But yeah, overall, I would definitely recommend it. It's definitely my number one VSA of the year. And I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite VSA of the year too. I mean, They Call Me Watcher Woman was pretty fucking fun too. But this one right here had me in, dude, I was pissing myself the whole movie. Like, I couldn't fucking believe how funny it was. My only complaint though, I think it runs a little bit too long. I think they probably could have shortened it up just a tad bit.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like
honestly,
10 minutes, it would have been like
perfect. It ran over at like 105 minutes. I was like, okay, but like there was enough there. Like I was laughing from the beginning of the film right to the end, and I was like, holy shit. But there was a little part like in the third act, I was like, oh, okay, you could probably shorten this up a little bit, but otherwise, fuck, what a fun movie, man. I am so happy that I watched that because I was like, I was super tired, and it just elevated. I was like wide awake after it, man. I was like, that's
right. It's just a perfect good mood movie. Like you're just gonna smile from beginning to end if you watch it.
Honestly, this month, like I haven't seen this movie, but now that you guys are both giving it a positive review, this might be like in terms of quality, like the best month we've covered so far.
I think it is for sure.
But I was like, oh man, I went into this thinking I didn't know what to think because you know me with romantic comedy, like I perceived it as like an action comedy, like romantic comedy type thing, which it is. But I hate romantic comedies. Like I hate love stories. I hate romantic comedies. I'm just not that type of person. But this one just didn't. It didn't get mushy. It didn't get fucking like lame and awkward and all that type of shit. It was joke after fucking joke after joke, and I'm just like, dude, everything worked for me. I never found myself going, well, that was fucking pretty lame. Like, haha. But like, I was literally laughing out loud by myself because I don't care. I don't care.
Right. I liked it because there really wasn't that much romance in it. Like, he saved her from the black bear guy, but she just blows him off just as easily because she's just like, you're just this loser coward. It's like, I don't want you either.
Yeah. But I don't blame her because, like, you're right. That dude was not very attractive, and she is uber fucking beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Like, they cast this one
she
so
is hot.
Oh my god! From the opening
Fucking
scene in the film,
gorgeous.
I was like, okay, I don't know who she is, but she is fucking beautiful. Like, I couldn't even stop watching her in the film. She was so hot, man.
Yeah, I need to see what else she's in.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Like, really, really awesome. But, so what'd you give that one?
8.
8.
What about you?
I think I have the same, either 7.5 or 8 or something like that. I'd probably an 8. Probably give it an 8. Fun ass movie though. All right. So I'm up next. And we're going to take it to, well, about 10 years earlier than Tony. We're going to take it back to 1984 with a film called Bloodbath at the House of Death. Now, this is a film I'd never seen before. I always knew about it because Vincent Price is like my favorite actor of all time. And I always was enthralled by this title, and I wasn't really too sure if it was a film that he just did like a quick cameo in it and they got a credit for it, whatever. I had really no idea because what I learned from the special features is that this one just went into obscurity. It got really no releases or whatever. Had anybody ever seen this one?
No.
No.
It's weird. This is 84, right?
Yeah.
84 is such a weird year in the 80s because it's like the worst year out of all the years in the 80s.
And it's funny because it has like 4 or 5 big bangers from that year too, but like the year overall, yeah,
like the depth of the year is not like as good as any of the other years in the 80s.
Yeah.
So anytime like a 1984 movie comes up that's like solid, I'm like, oh, okay, there's chalk one up for 84. Like it needs it.
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of like the unsung hero of 1984 because I feel like no one had seen this one, myself included.
I've
Like I
never
said,
heard a single person ever even talk about it.
Yeah,
No,
I
I-
never did either. I think the only like release I ever had was like a UK DVD from like the mid 2000s. Like it was pretty obscure.
yeah, I mean, they go into that in the special features and stuff too, where, I didn't even know it even had a UK DVD. I would assumed it probably would have had an Australian one because they kind of sold off the rights to the film after it came out to Australia. They were the ones the only place in the world it did good was in Australia. It never had a theatrical in America or Canada. And it really only had a minor theatrical in the UK when it came out. And the people that went and saw it were people that they invited. So it didn't do good. There's a history with, our lead actor and stuff with BBC and stuff. It never got any TV time there because, he was on one network. And then when he left that, the other network didn't like him. So never got any TV time. This movie basically just went into obscurity because they had a distribution deal and the company fell through. So it didn't even get really distributed on VHS at the time. And so it just completely fell out of everyone's minds, even if it was in there at one point. So it's got a really weird history considering it has, a comedian in the film that was super popular at the time. But, it was also one of those cases where it was kind of misunderstood, but it also had Vincent Price. And it just blows my mind that this movie was so obscure with somebody like Vincent Price. It's crazy to me. So Bloodbath at the House of Death. I'm so happy that it's got a release because, like I said before, I always thought this was one of those films that had a Vincent Price credit where he was in it for just 1 second, and that was it. That's what I was expecting when I saw this, and he's actually in the movie a little bit more, which is kind of crazy. But it ultimately doesn't really surprise me because Vincent Price more or less liked doing more comedic horror films than he did, straight up horror films. But anyways, the synopsis of the film is basically a bunch of, scientists get together and they want to go and investigate this house called the Headstone Manor, this big mansion or whatever. So years prior, the movie takes place in modern times. So in 1984. So what happens about 9 years prior, 1975, which is really funny, actually, we just covered 1975. But 1975, there's this huge massacre in this manor. And like 18 people just get fucking obliviated, right? And there's no reason for it. They never figured out what the fuck happened. Like the investigators have no clue what the hell happened with this. And it goes cold. It goes cold. Anyways, jump to the present time. We get introduced to all of our main characters, and they're heading to this place. They had what do they call it again? Headstone Manor. And they all get there and stuff, and they're they want to investigate the paranormal activity and all that type of shit like that. One thing leads to another, and ultimately, it's not exactly what they signed up for. And people start getting picked off basically one by one. Now my thoughts on the movie. Holy fucking shitballs. I did not realize what I was getting myself into with this one. I honestly didn't know if I was going to enjoy the comedic elements of this because I'll be honest, man, a lot of British humor is super dry to me. And that's coming for somebody that's 100% British. I have all my family straight from...
I thought you were Canadian.
Straight from England. So... And it's so funny because like I don't associate with that type of humor because I like to a little bit more dirty and blah 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 and stuff.
See, I'm kind of with you too, but
Yeah.
one thing that I do find funny is Monty Python, and this totally has a Monty Python.
That's what I felt like. This was Monty Python meets Scary Movie.
Yeah, it's like half parody, half
Yeah,
fucking Monty Python.
It's a good way of putting it, actually.
I was off put at this movie at first because like the beginning it's kind of brutal. It's not really funny. It's like
that massacre is a fucking massacre.
Yeah, so it's like you're like, damn, dude, like this movie's like that. And then it starts getting like wicked goofy. And then I start to notice like there's a lot of references to like 70s and like 60s like ghost and like haunted house movies. And then like I was like, holy shit, this is just a fucking spoof. Like this is like Scary Movie before Scary Movie.
Oh yeah, like the opening spoofs Amityville Horror.
Yeah, like it took me a minute, then I realized what they were doing. I thought it was wicked funny.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many calls in this film, man. Like from the start, from Amityville Horror to like, oh fuck, man. I mean, right to the end, they spoof E.T. There's The Shining in this. I mean, there's so
Yeah,
many.
that's
There's so
around the
many little
time like
gags.
when he did the Shining gag, I was just like, okay, like this is what's going on.
And and the funny thing about like the gags in the film, they're done so well. They
Yeah, it
really
was
are
like so
done so
sweet.
well. They're not corny, but you're right though. This is like this is definitely that type of like scary movie spoof shit, but like isn't corny and bad. I feel like there's so many good scenes in this film. But you're right though. This movie starts out and I did not know what I was getting myself into. Right
Yeah.
away, we get this massacre, we get this backstory, and literally they show like 18 people just getting fucking massacred. You're like, holy
Yeah,
shit!
it's like violent.
Crazy.
Mhm.
It's so fucking violent. But then it cuts to the present, and we have this great fucking scene. We have this great scene where actually the guy that wrote the movie, what's his name? Barry, I think it's Barry Cryer. Anyways, he plays the investigator. He's the guy in the beginning of the film who's standing underneath the overhead he was getting dripped on with the blood. That awesome gag where he's like getting dripped on, he's talking. He's actually the guy that wrote this. He was a very famous English comedian, actually, who worked with our lead for pretty much his whole career and stuff, which we'll get into Kenny Everett in a little bit here. He was, he actually really wasn't an actor. Kenny Everett was a dude. He was a comedian in the UK that did like, he did, comedic shows and stuff. He played different characters, kind of like, the English version of like SNL and stuff like that. He plays all these type of characters and stuff.
Yeah,
And that's
Monty Python, right?
Yeah, kind of stuff like that. Like he had his own different TV shows. They even created a couple like VHS marketed kind of compilations and stuff with his name on it and stuff. Like he was very famous. Anyways, but actually that's one of the reasons why they figure this movie didn't do well is because he plays the same character throughout the whole movie where if you watch all the sitcoms and all the TV programs that he was on, he played different characters all the time. He was always playing a different person. So the initial reaction and reviews on this movie was like, well, Kenny's only playing one person. We don't really get this. And like, that's just the way the UK critics and audience, I think, was. They just didn't understand what was going on.
That he's just acting, that he's not just doing his usual shtick.
But I mean, he was obviously not playing himself. He was playing. I mean, some of the German accents shit that he's doing throughout the film is awesome. But they figure that's one of the reasons why it didn't work and didn't sell because he was so well known within that comedic community that they just didn't understand the fucking movie. But all in all, man, this one is it's actually really damn fun. He wasn't into like horror and stuff, but they just figured they wanted to do a film. And they're like, you know what would be fucking funny to do, like outside the box, would be like put Kenny into like this kind of like horror spoof type of thing. And they just got together and just wrote this shit. Like they just came up with this crazy idea for this fucking movie. It's like out of left field because when the writers and the actors and no one is in the horror realm and they produce this type of shit and it turns out this damn funny. I think the comedic elements of this film still hold up to this day. That's the crazy part about this movie is like nobody comes from that background and they created this piece of comedic fucking genius to myself. And it still stands the test of time literally 40 years later. It's pretty crazy like how genius these writers were.
Mm-hmm.
But
A
lots
lot
of
of
good
good clever sight gags in this movie too.
Yeah, a lot of good characters too, man. Like we get introduced, and like that was one thing I learned from the special features too. Everybody on this set that was involved in this film, like literally everybody from the director to the writers to the stars, every single one of these people was all technically family. They all worked together all the time. They worked on all these TV sitcom, like all these type of shows and all these, all these skit shows and stuff. They all did, and they all played different characters. That's kind of the cool thing because they show clips of like all these other characters or all the actors playing different characters like in all these sketch shows and stuff, and it's fucking crazy. Pretty cool stuff. But this one, for being a comedy horror film, actually has a pretty cool narrative. Like it's got some twists and turns. I think that like I like where it goes in like the third act with the whole supernatural kind of alien ET thing and stuff. I think that whole thing is super cool when it creates the clones and shit. I think that's really fucking awesome. I think that's really cool stuff. But what really sells this movie for me, and I really do wish that Vincent Price was in it a little bit more. Vincent Price basically plays the head of this cult. And oh my god, dude, if Vincent Price wasn't having the blast or the time of his life fucking role, man, he says some shit in this that I don't really want to, you
The
know,
F slur jokes.
yeah, I don't really want to regurgitate right now because like, oh my god, dude, I was laughing
I
so
was
fucking
laughing
hard at
so hard.
every single time Vincent Price talked in this movie. I was busting a gut, dude. He was having so much fun with the material, like every line. And I think the biggest fault for the film, I don't know if they only had him for so long, but you know, he's in it a fair amount, but I feel like he leaves a little bit too early, which you know, that part's really funny too. But man, dude, like it is so hard to make a comedy horror film work for like 90 minutes where this one did. I think that the whole narrative is great. The characters are so much fun. And then when all the characters start getting picked off towards the end, like the kills are so inventive. There's so many fucking good gags. And I don't want to give everything away. You got to see this movie. But one of my favorite gags in this film is like a Carrie. It's totally like a spoof on Carrie, where they have this person get decapitated from like a can opener. And it's like this total
Oh my
Carrie
god,
scene.
it's so funny.
And it's out of fucking blue in this film too, and it's so
Yeah.
well done. You're just like, oh my god, and it kind of happens, and then like I said, you know, this film opens up with crazy brutal violence, and then we got these random scenes in the middle, and then the whole thing just goes haywire in the third act too. It's like, oh man, dude, so much fun, so much
I
damn
like,
fun, man.
I like the gag with I like it, but it also was like hella gross, and that's the gag with the mole.
Mm.
This guy got this fucking giant mole on his arm.
But they built it up. They built it up so good.
And
They
then
built
an actual mole.
they built that up so well, man. They built it up really well, man.
And then like that part where Vincent Price is given the like commands where everybody's like repeating in their robes. That's the real like Monty Python type moment for
Right.
me. Where he's like, ah, damn it, it's hot. And they're like, ah, damn it, it's hot, or something.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
stupid, but it was like hilarious, dude.
I think like this movie takes such a bizarre turn because it's like so straightforward, and then you start to learn that like this house is basically kind of like the spawning ground for like Satan and stuff like that, and that's, you know, I mean, there's a reason why all this shit happened in the past and stuff, and then oh, they got to do it again. But Vincent Price, when he's talking about it, I'm literally wiping tears away the way he's saying it. Like, yeah, we know we screwed up. We got to do it again. The way he's
And
saying
then it's
it,
like
I'm
just
just
thunder,
fucking dying.
and he's like,
And then like what happens to Vincent Price is like the weirdest moment in the film because like there's this moment something happens to him, and then all of a sudden all these fucking like clones start coming out of the ground and shit. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I love this shit, man. It's so cool. And it leads into this bizarre, crazy fucking third act. But you know, like I said, I don't want to give everything away, but I got to talk about this one moment in the film. I was in fucking stitches. It's by far my favorite gag in the whole film, and it was done so fucking well, man. So when you're watching a horror film and you hear those like those low end bass sounds and stuff, you know something crazy is about to happen, right? And it's got this like fucking bass sound and shit, and this guy's walking down a hallway, and he's walking towards a door into a bathroom, and it's like doo 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 doo, and he opens up the door, and our main character Kenny, he's taking a shit on the toilet, and he's playing the bass. And he's like, "Whoa, get out of here, man!" I literally
part-
was
that part is
fucking
hilarious.
dying, man. I was like, "Oh my god, that is such a good gag, man!" It was so good, man. It's just shit like this through the whole movie. I felt like all the little gags and all the little jokes and stuff were so good. I mean, right down to the characters too. Like the girl that plays, you know, the hot blonde in the film, which I was actually really quite surprised that she showed her boobs in the movie. Pamela Stevenson, she was one that worked with Kenny Everett all the time, like on our sketch shows and stuff like that. So in the original script, she wasn't supposed to have a lisp. Like she was just this character, whatever, and she just started acting with this lisp. They're just like, okay, that's kind of fucking bizarre. And she just played out through the whole film and stuff. One thing I learned from the special features too is that she was actually pregnant during the making of this film too. And it was funny because they were talking about her on the set, and they're like, yeah, what was it like working with her? And they're like, oh, she was kind of snooty. She was kind of a bitch and stuff. And then they learned that she was actually pregnant. And she kept having to run off the set to puke. I'm like, fuck, it's just crazy shit, man. But yeah, the features were pretty cool on the film because like you really got an insight into like the history of our lead character Kenny. Kenny Everett, who was, like I said, he was a very famous comedian in England at the time and stuff. Very controversial because like he did, just a lot of kind of, edgy stuff for, that type of era in UK humor and stuff that, they can get a little bit up and end about stuff. But he was actually gay in real life, and he battled with that a lot. He did come out towards just before he died and stuff like that, which I thought was really interesting because he does a lot of stuff like that, I guess, in the sketches and kind of plays off that and stuff like that. Unfortunately, he did pass away in 1994, I think, from AIDS and shit, which is kind of crazy because dude was like fucking super funny, man, super funny, had a great career and stuff. But yeah, so they go into a lot of his history and like who he was to like the English and stuff like that, and which is really interesting. I thought one really crazy antidote was with interview with the writer who was a comedian himself, and that guy is so fucking funny, man. They're talking about the director who they had this movie called Suicide the Movie. They had originally before they wrote the script for this movie, they had pitched this idea called Suicide the Movie. Same cat, like everything. It was basically be all the same people. And so they ended up, I think it was the writer, Barry Sire, who knew Stanley Kubrick at the time. And he was telling Stanley Kubrick about this fucking idea. And he's like, yeah, we got this movie called, Suicide the Movie. And Stanley Kubrick, he was like interested in it. He's like, I want to fucking read the script and stuff like that. But the director, Cameron, whatever his name is, he was like, no, fuck that. He's like, we're going to make this shit ourselves. Yeah, it never happened. He wouldn't give Stanley Kubrick the fucking script for the movie.
Yeah, how big of balls do you got? And ego. Yeah.
So
like,
he never gave
Stanley Kubrick comes and wants to read my script. I'm like, bro.
Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? So
anyways, worthy.
But what language would you like it in?
He said it was like a good and bad thing because like all these years later, the movie's done, he's doing better and stuff like that. But like, Suicide the Movie was the movie that they originally wrote for Kenny, and they obviously didn't do it. So this is what happened. They didn't make that movie, so they ended up making this one. Which I thought was kind of interesting. So I don't know, but when Barry Sire is talking about Suicide the Movie, he kept laughing. He's like, "Fuck, man, it would have been funny as hell." Like, I'm just thinking to myself, Suicide the Movie. You can only make that in 1984 because nowadays that probably doesn't roll too well.
Yeah, probably not.
No, but
I mean, we've already. You just got us flagged like 100 times.
Oh,
we're definitely not monetized on this episode. I don't think you could say suicide on YouTube.
It's funny because, again, YouTube doesn't recognize the context of it. I'm literally talking about the title of a movie.
They don't care.
I know.
They don't care.
Context don't matter, dog.
They'll do whatever they can to not pay money.
Yeah, not their problem.
Like, I get it in terms of, like, advertisers. Like, they just don't want associated with anything negative. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I felt like everything was fine for years when you could say anything and still.
But like I said, though, man, I've always said that context is everything, man. And like, I'm sure other people do, but context is a big thing. Like, you can't even say the word. What about the context?
They don't, nobody's reviewing the context.
That's what I'm saying. That's the problem with YouTube and the algorithm and how it all works and stuff is that just because a word is said doesn't mean it's not said in a positive way. Doesn't mean it's not said in a positive way either.
I think it's I think it's they just don't care to, like, the way that they have it with the advertisers is like there's probably just certain buzzwords that it doesn't matter the context. They just don't want it.
No, of course it doesn't matter the context. It's just like,
I think the workaround word is unalive.
Yeah, that's what people are saying. And what I saw one for.
Well, I wasn't gonna fuck up their original title for the movie. So.
the pedophile word now is, I'm hearing people say PDF file.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And how we have to say great
anymore.
You can't
No,
say
you
you
can't
can't.
say pedophile.
You have to say grape.
You have to say SA also.
But I
Yeah.
mean that is one of the biggest problems with the society that we live in right now is that I mean people are looking to be offended, right? And so now the algorithms are playing with that too. Oh, you can't say the word suicide, you can't say the word grape, you can't say pedophile, and but there's still a context here. We're not using this as drug. I mean, how the fuck can you talk about you know whatever? I'm not going to get into it, but I'm just saying people are actually going out of their ways to be offended. And the point of that is to go onto social media after and then bitch and complain about shit. It's all about likes. It's all about their view. If you got something to bitch about, oh, I might get some views, I might get some likes and stuff like that because I can go talk about this and blah blah blah. You're looking to be offended. That's ridiculous. It's exactly what's happening in society right now. It's fucking terrible. But fuck it.
People just love being miserable.
They do, and it's such a sad thing. Why would you go out of your way to be offended? What happened to our generations where it was like, what the fuck? Like that was never a thing. We're not
'Cause they
looking
were
to be offended.
Because in
I
our
don't know,
generation,
literally, like I don't
We-
think there's anything.
the
like
Gen
that.
Xers,
we grew up
the Gen
with-
Xers and the Millennials don't want to be victims. There's like nobility in being a victim.
We
now.
grew up with the Richard Pryors and the fucking the Eddie Murphys and all the fucking oh my
I mean,
god, the Andrew Dice Clays and all the fucking very very purposely offensive shit because it was fucking funny. Remember when it was actually fucking funny and everyone thought and knew it was a joke? But you can't say that
I think
shit
the
now.
only people
They're looking to be
the only
offended.
people are South Park and like Eminem.
Dude, it's funny.
They can literally say.
I
anything
swear
about
to
it.
God,
It's
South Park,
funny,
Trey Parker
I
has a
went
pass
to-
on society. I swear to God, you never.
Well,
How in the
so-
fuck had they not been canceled 4,000 times?
Dude.
So it's funny this topic comes up because last night I went to the movie theater and saw a movie called Blazing Saddles. And
Yeah,
the first
I'm
time,
surprised they even screened that.
right?
I'm
It's
surprised that's
crazy.
even allowed because all the N bombs in that movie.
Yeah, they like and when they drop like that M bomb in the first scene, the girl next to me gasped.
Yeah, see, like my generation
for a while.
Did you lean over and say "Buckle up, sweetheart"?
No, but like I honestly thought it was gonna be funnier, but I still did laugh a lot at like a lot of it. But like it was a sold out show too, and the dude next to me like did not laugh a fucking second.
Damn.
But Mel Brooks is like, I think even back in the day, like when I first watched Blazing, I didn't find it overly that funny either. Like I liked the
Yeah,
movie,
I
but
like
it's
the
like
movie, but
well,
I don't think it's that.
I wasn't
funny.
offended. It's just
Yeah.
sometimes
That's honestly the funniest stuff. Like
yeah.
I don't laugh out loud often. I know Moodz like made fun of me for years because he says I'm too serious.
I literally laugh out loud at everything.
Yeah.
yeah, laugh out loud.
So whenever I actually if I'm with a group, it's way easier for me to laugh like loudly, like
Yeah.
out loud.
Mhm.
But if I'm just sitting here by myself, like it takes a lot to get me to laugh by myself. But this fucking Bloodbath in the House of Death movie, I literally laughed out loud multiple times, which I was like, bravo. Like that's a big deal for a comedy to make me laugh while I'm in a room alone. Like I'm
Man.
chuckling stuff, I'll be like, huh.
I,
But like to actually like laugh is tough for me.
I just want to I just want to spoil every scene because there's so many funny things. I'm gonna ask you in a minute what you laughed out loud at, but like I laughed out loud when Barry Sly was talking about the original title for this movie that they wrote. He's like trying to fucking tell it. He's like, he goes, originally we called it Bloodbath at the House of Farts.
Why?
Starts laughing and he's like, I don't even know. He's like in his 80s, man. I'm like,
Blood and fart should not even be in the same sentence.
fuck, I was laughing, dude. And he just left it at that. I was like, oh my god, that's so fucking funny.
That's so stupid.
But I laughed so hard because there's a great fucking fart joke in the film with the book and shit. I was like, oh
Yo,
my-
who's the guest host, dog? Or should I say cat?
Yep.
which I
Remember
find that gag so bad. Like when she grabs that book and it's like something of farts. Like she opens up, she's like, oh fuck. And then Kenny comes through there and he's like, oh, smells like fart.
I think that cat needs to go on the thumbnail.
I'm just
Double
like,
views.
why? Oh my god. You got cats?
Yeah, there's
I
two
don't.
cats that here with me.
I don't have cats.
There's this
My cats
one
aren't
in the-
allowed here. They'll be too loud. They
Yeah.
scream.
Yeah, the other one's well now he's staring at me, but he's like sitting in a box, like on a
What's
chair.
its name?
This one's a Johnny. Like the
Johnny.
magic card. A Johnny, like
Oh, okay.
AJANI.
I was about to be mad.
And then the other one's Akira.
Okay.
Akira.
I like it. I
Nice.
like it. That's funny. I used to have a dog named Kira. Not A.
Yeah. This one's
You
named
used to
after the
have
movie.
a Kira.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't really my dog, but I named it.
So, getting back to the film, man, I gotta say, man, like, this movie is pretty creative. Like, a lot of the kills in the movie had me laughing, going, that was a pretty good kill. That was a pretty good kill. I kept saying that to myself over and over again.
Expect it. Like,
Yeah,
you don't
you don't-
expect it.
No,
You
because
don't
in the
expect
third,
it because like no one talks about this movie, so you like have expectations that are pretty low. But yeah, like the kills are really fucking like surprisingly good.
surprisingly inventive too. Like I said, the one I have to, the can opener with the decapitation, that is honestly really amazing. And I'm surprised that's never been duplicated. But a lot of the kills that happen, in the third act, which it just goes bonkers. It goes completely bonkers. I thought were really good. But there was one part where I literally started laughing so fucking hard on this part, man. I don't know why it made me laugh, but when dude's getting choked out by himself, by his clone, and he's dying, and he's like, "Is this considered suicide?" Broken, man. I'm like, I'm not laughing about the suicide. It's just the way. Oh my god, dude! I was pissing myself. I was like, "That's so fucking stupid, but clever. It's fucking clever because it's himself killing himself." I'm like, "That's pretty good." But yeah, the whole clone thing, I really like the way this thing turns out, man. I thought it was pretty fun. It's pretty fucking fun. Yeah, I get, getting into I talked about the features. I did mine a little bit different. I talked about them throughout it, but so with the features, there is a commentary track on here with historians and writers. I didn't listen to it because I'm not a big fan of listening to commentaries that don't have people involved with the film, so I pass on that one.
I like those ones more.
No. If you're involved with the film, I feel like you get an in-depth and a personal view of,
I like this.
Yeah, but the
stories.
problem
Like-
with that is most of these fucking directors can't talk. They're just so boring. Like, yeah, you will get some good ones. Like, that's why I've always said, like, Adam Green, Eli Roth, they do really great commentaries that keep you interested. Tarantino. But there's a lot of dry ones.
But I would listen to those. I mean, if it's not, there's a few guys outside the box I'll listen to, like Troy Howarth and stuff like that. But otherwise, I mean, they're just so damn knowledgeable, right? But I feel like the best information and the shit I want to hear, like, inside stories or joke, like things from the set and stuff, like, which you wouldn't get from a historian because they weren't fucking there, right? It's just the point that you're looking at it from. But Crying with Laughter is an interview with Barry Sire, who wrote the film. He was like I said before, he was the guy in the beginning of the film. He was the investigator that gets all the blood on his head and stuff. He's the guy that wrote the film, and he was, fuck, man, that interview was amazing, dude. He gives you so much great insight. Super funny dude. I think he might have he obviously passed away before this came out because they dedicated that to him. So, but he was obviously pretty fucking old, but totally with it though. So they do an interview with producer Stuart D. Donaldson. Kind of the same information. We get a lot of the type of same things. They talk about the budgets and stuff where it was, I think they said it was about a £960,000 budget for this movie. And I'm thinking, holy fuck, dude, like that's actually pretty good. And there's this crazy story where they actually.
Yeah, but how was the pound versus the dollar in like. So yeah, I guess that seems like
in '84, it still would have been it would have been well over $1 million, even American. So, which is crazy. I mean, considering this is like more of like a straight up like independent film.
Yeah, how much would like £1 million be in today's time, right? Like that would probably be a good bit of money.
£1 million in America. Well, £1 million.
No, just in inflation wise.
Oh, fuck.
Today, how much would a
look it up? I don't no idea what the inflation from pounds 84, because I think the pound has always been worth more than American dollars and Canadian. So
yeah, well, you guys fucking tanked the last 10 years.
Dude, it's so bad. Actually,
because when I met you in like 2012, yours was above ours. Like you had a better conversion.
Yeah, it's funny because we were just talking about that because we're talking about converting Canadian to American and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh shit, the dollar went back up to 73 cents on the dollar. So one of our dollars will cost me like $1.30. It would cost me $1.30 to get one American dollar, basically. It's fucking terrible. But yeah, so that interview goes into like budgets and tells a little bit of stories and stuff like that. And then there's the running the bloodbath to look at the making of the cult classic, which pretty much kind of regurgitates the information that we got from the first two interviews. It was pretty much the exact same thing. I don't think I took anything else away from it. They never do talk about Kenny Everett's like demise and stuff. They never really get into the fact that like he was. I mean, they briefly talk on the fact that like he struggled with coming out and stuff like that, where he did in the later 80s and stuff. But they don't really go into his death and stuff like that. But they focus a lot on his career and like how influential this guy and like how genius he was and stuff. And like it's kind of it's like such a new territory for me because like I didn't even know who this guy was. I've never been exposed to a lot of like the UK sketch shows and like comedy and stuff like that was outside of like Monty Python and the bigger stuff, right? So, but this guy was a big thing. He was a fucking huge thing. It's pretty crazy. Kind of a shame because watching some of the sketches and skits that he did like in the features and stuff, I was like, damn, dude, this guy was actually pretty fucking funny. Always breaking walls, like doing shit like really fun. He actually does a couple sketches on there where Saturday Night Live totally fucking ripped off, and I'm not going to ruin it, but they totally ripped this guy off big time. Big time. Yeah. I caught a couple of them. I was like, oh shit, dude, that's where they probably got that idea from. But so they do go into the fact that like about how this movie did probably pretty poor because they did have a theatrical there. And they figure it did pretty shitty because like it got an 18 certificate for like a comedy horror film. And he's like, well, right there, this movie needs to be catered towards younger audiences, right? So that did shitty. I went into like the Australian thing a little bit too, where they actually sold the rights off to Australia. The only place in the entire world that it even did well was in Australia. It never had theatricals in the US or Canada, like I said before. And it just went silent, just went dead. It did nothing. Fell into obscurity, and then the fine folks over at Vinegar Syndrome decided that they are going to release this thing. It's fantastic. But again, Vincent Price, man, I kind of steals the show for me in this one a little bit. It's just funny to hear him spewing some of the lines that he did, and he was willing to do that. And there's a great interview, or there's a great little anecdote in one of the interviews where they talk about how Barry Cyra, I think he was out for dinner. Like he invited Vincent Price over for dinner and stuff like that. And they were talking and stuff. And Vincent Price actually admitted to him that he prefers doing the more comedic horror films where, he did a lot of that stuff, throughout his career and stuff. But he always preferred doing the more comedic stuff. And at the time, he didn't like Witchfinder General after he did that film. He actually really did not. I remember
hearing that before.
Yeah. And then it took him years to realize that, like, oh, that's a fucking good film and stuff. So things like that was pretty cool. But, the features, I mean, I think if you watch like the first one with Barry Sire, then you'll probably kind of get the whole thing. But otherwise, fucking funny ass movie. Really enjoyed this movie. I feel like everyone is having like weird moments. It looks like it looks like Tony was sucking something off right there. He was
blowing someone.
Yeah, man. He's like, what the fuck? Oh yeah, there it is.
He's muted too. He's still muted.
Oh shit, my bad. So like I opened the beer and it just exploded.
I'm sure something exploded, Tony.
It looked like something exploded.
Yeah, I'm cleaning it up with a towel. Don't worry.
I'm sure you are.
I'm trying to be responsible over here, guys.
I'll go get you a towel. I love that shit. So good. But anyways, yeah, comedies are so hard to review without giving everything away. And I feel like this is obviously very, very unseen. I don't want to ruin everything, but I had to talk about that cello scene. That shit fucking had me in stitches, man. It was fucking so good. But highly recommend Bloodbath at the House of Death.
I was muted either.
Vincent Price. So everyone watched it here? Man, did everyone like it? I thought it was fucking hysterical.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's surprised me. It was on Tubi, so I watched it. And the
It's
trailer
not
was
really
good.
my type of movie. Like on the surface, like going into it, like I wouldn't think it would be my type of movie, but I totally dug it. It was awesome.
But this is how you do like comedy horrors, like spoofs and stuff. Like there's a lot from the early 80s, like in 1981, 82, there's like Student Bodies. There's so fucking many of them.
Wacko.
Wacko. There's the National Lampoon's one that they did.
Which Wacko was a Vinegar Syndrome title as well.
Yeah. There's
Pandemonium.
Pandemonium. There's Pandemonium. Yeah.
I've never seen that one.
That was from 82.
Also Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah. Yeah. That was prep for 82 there.
Maybe I did see it then.
What's the National Lampoon's one that came out around that time too?
Class Reunion.
Yeah, that movie sucks. It's so fucking terrible. It's fucking terrible.
Yeah, it's definitely the worst one out of all those.
Oh, it's bad, man. But
they pretty much suck at making these type of movies now.
Yeah, like this is clever. Like honest, there's so much clever stuff in this. It's really good. But
yeah. Yep.
It fits right in with like the early like 80s like horror spoofs too.
Mm-hmm.
But what's really good about this though is like it's obviously a comedy, but the characters are so good with like the acting is brilliant in this. It's really fucking good. Like, and it really like you get an appreciation for it when you when you watch the features and they talk about like these actors and actresses and like you know who they are and like how they're playing these roles and stuff. Like it's really fucking good. Like they're just straight up like sketch actors doing roles and like it's really good, man. I was really impressed with this. But you know, for like a film that was basically created by nobody that had ever done film, even producers, you know, everything. This is what came out from it. That's pretty impressive. It's pretty fucking impressive. They all worked in like TV and sketch and stuff, like I said, but good stuff. I'm giving this one a 9 out of 10. Good film. One of the better horror comedies I've actually ever seen. And
I think I gave it like a 7.5 myself.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. I mean, it just took me by surprise. I mean, if you're going to make me laugh out loud that much, like, I mean, I do laugh out loud, but I was legitimately pissing myself a couple times. I was like, fuck, some of the gags were funny, man. Like the Silent Fart book, it's so stupid, but I was laughing because it just kept going on. And I was like, I don't know, man. It's clever. It's fucking clever though. But
yeah, this was
the Vincent Price, like, light him on fire joke.
Dude, I know. I just want to give away the whole scene because I literally, my jaw dropped when he kept saying it, man. I was like, what the fuck? You would
expect that to come out of his mouth. He's so nice. He's like Mr. Rogers.
Even the fact of him saying goddamn and piss, like he never swore. He never said any of this in like the 100 credits that he has before this. Like he never swore. And all of a sudden he was like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, he has like such a soft like voice.
Every actor like reaches that point in their career where they don't give a fuck about like the content of the script, so they'll just say whatever the hell.
It's like no one's ever gonna see this goddamn movie anyway.
Right? Like they always reach a point.
They didn't go into Vincent Price like
that with a Dirty Grandpa.
Right. They didn't go into like Vincent Price, you know, just kind of winging the shit. I feel like he's stuck by the script that was what was written for, but who knows? Because it's Vincent Price. He could probably do whatever he wants.
I mean, he's pretty... I think he comes from that old school era where you didn't really deviate from the script, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
I bet it was
he performed whatever you were hired to perform, you know?
But in like typical Vincent Price fashion, like he always seems to have like a really good monologue in like all the films that he does. And he, like the first scene in this film where they get, you know, we get introduced to his character, that like fucking 8-minute monologue that he gives, like the guy is incredible. He's such an incredible actor. Like the words that he's using, the way like he doesn't fumble a thing. There's like no edits. It's fucking amazing. He is so good at what he does. One of the best ever. But check it out. Amazing release. Oh, by the way, the transfer, crystal.
Yeah,
absolutely crystal
amazing.
Clean. It looks fucking amazing. I was like, holy shit. I was expecting it to look rough because it's kind of like a forgotten gem, but maybe they had like a print that was never watched before. I don't know. Good shit though.
All right. So next up is me. My review will probably not be as long as those two gentlemen. I picked a movie based on the fucking cover alone, honestly. And that is Hell's Trap from the year 1989. And it's also known as Trampa Infernal. It is a Mexican film from the director Pedro Galindo III. And you might know him from Vacation of Terror 2, which is actually pretty fun. Vinegar Syndrome also released the Vacation of Terror 1 and 2 films. Did you guys ever watch those?
Yeah. 2 is better than 1.
I like them both.
Dude, I keep hearing
I like
everyone say
1.
that 2 is better than 1. Yeah, I still need to watch them.
2 fucking rocks.
I like them
1's
both.
pretty fun though.
Yeah. And I believe the producer is like the brother of Pedro Galindo III or something along those lines. And they worked a bunch together. It stars Pedro Fernandez, who is actually a really, I assume from my very limited research, famous singer in Mexico. Like he has a shit ton of albums and stuff, like a huge discography. And he's in this movie, yeah.
I didn't know that guy was the singer. That's really fucking cool.
And he's also in Vacation of Terror 1 and 2 as well. And he's the star of this movie pretty much. So this movie is pretty short. It's only 76 minutes long. It is very, very, very briskly paced. And it follows these 2 friends and a couple of girls and their other friend, who sort of have like a rivalry with each other. And I think they're playing like paintball or some shit. It's actually funny. Like even on the back, it doesn't even say what the defeat is. It's just like, after an embarrassing defeat, Mauricio comes up with one last bet to settle the score. Like they don't even say what the embarrassing defeat was. So basically in 5 hours away in another town, there's this people turning up slaughtered basically, and they're saying that it's a bear. So for some really unimportant reason, but whatever, it's like MacGuffin, they need to go hunt down this bear to prove they're like who's the superior friend. It's actually super ridiculous and stupid. Like if you think about like the setup to this, it really doesn't matter. It just gets them out into the woods, and they actually stop at this dude's house. I forget his name. I forget his name, but they stop at his house to get some info and stuff. And he's like this crazy old like hermit that has like guns. They get some guns, bullets off of him and stuff. Tries to sell him an Uzi. And he tries to tell him the story of like what's actually going on in these woods, which it's a Vietnam vet apparently started living in the woods and thinks everyone that goes in the woods is like the enemy. So he's like got some serious PTSD. So he's just been living out in the woods all those years, killing people. And they think it's a bear because he has this like straight up like Freddy Krueger glove, which has like it's like instead of razors, it has like almost like claw,
like serrated edges.
Yeah. And that's fucking awesome, first of all. And then the mask this dude wears is also cool. It's just this white face with like long hair, but he's like this crazy ass like Vietnam vet who's like out in the Mexican woods killing people. And so they go up there to basically hunt a bear, but it turns out that it's this guy, and then it's a fight for survival. But it's so briskly paced, dude. Like this movie just flies by. It's a little ridiculous, but it's hella fun, dude. There's like you can tell it's like low budget. But the killer looks cool with his rip-off Freddy glove, and you also have all these traps and shit that he's setting up, like grenades and punji sticks and stuff. And then he got like an underground layer that he pulls his glove out of.
Did you like that aspect?
M16s. What, the underground layer?
No, the fucking traps, because I know you don't like traps.
Yeah, because it makes sense for this guy.
I guess.
He's a Vietnam vet, right? Like these are all traps that the Vietnam
so funny.
used
What's a specific trap that you don't like?
in movies.
Yeah, like what's this coming from?
Like he doesn't like booby traps. No booby traps.
I don't know. I don't even know where it came from.
Yeah,
Probably
like I'm wondering like
probably
what
like
book,
Last House on the Left or something.
yeah,
or
like what
Hills
booby
Have
traps
Eyes.
set you off?
I think it was the Hills Have Eyes. I think that's something we've discussed on 22 Shots so much about like booby traps and shit. I think Hills Have Eyes was one of them.
Yeah, it's like you ain't got time to set this shit up.
Yeah.
Wes Craven loves fucking booby traps, dude. They're in
Oh,
like
yeah.
5 of his movies, man.
Dude, fucking, I never thought about that, but you're so right, dude. That's
No, they're in all of his
for
movies.
booby traps.
Dude, fucking People Under the Stairs, fucking Nightmare on Elm Street. The whole end is all traps.
Yeah.
Fucking Hills Have Eyes, Last House on the Left. I'm sure there's some
Shocker.
fucking traps.
I'm sure there is in
Swamp
Shocker too. I was just thinking that, yeah.
Thing. But anyway, so this guy's got all these traps and shit. There's another character there. He's supposed to be like the comedic relief, named Charlie. But they always say his name like Charlie.
Charlie.
Like whenever Charlie goes out to the car and he notices that thing, he's like, Charlie. Just ridiculous. But that guy is a comedian in real life, Mexican comedian. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, like Pedro Fernandez is like a big time singer and stuff. I think that's why they didn't really get anybody for the special features, because I think like some of these people are stars now. But yeah, it's a super simple, fun little slasher type movie. There's some okay kills and stuff. The killers just looks cool. There's some machine gun, there's some M16s and shit in there, an Uzi, some rifles. You have you have the fucking Vietnam vet dude, and he's I forget where the fuck I was going with this, but anyway, he's like just crazy as shit. And oh, that's what I wanted to say. He gets his fucking hand blown off at one point. Like I totally didn't expect that, because like here comes dumbass like overweight Charlie with a fucking gun trying to save his friends, and the Vietnam vet's about to like hit him with the arrows, and Charlie blows the motherfucker's hand off. I was like, dude,
I was
Charlie
wondering how
kicks
that was going to
ass.
play out too.
Yeah, I thought
The
he was
weird-
gonna like fall down the hill or something and blow his own hand off or something, but yeah, he actually like wounds that dude pretty bad.
But it's crazy to see like the main killer in a film lose a fucking limb.
Yeah, like
So
yeah,
early on,
like,
too.
Yeah, early
Yeah, it's
on.
crazy, right?
And then he like straight up like predators that shit in the woods and like burns it up and tapes it up or whatever. But dude, honestly, like this movie has like very, very little downtime. Like I said, it's 76 minutes. It cruises by. I think it's a bit of a gem. I had a lot of fun with it. For special features, not much actually on this one. There's no commentary at all, which surprised me. But you have the making of Hell Trap. It's only 8 minutes. It's an interview with the producer Eduardo Galindo, the brother of Pedro Galindo the third. And it's pretty interesting actually. He basically just talks about it's only 8 minutes, but it was pretty interesting because he kind of talks about just like producing movies and working with his brother and like being like really low budget, but kind of wanting to do like something different with each movie they made. Like they didn't want to just do what was popular and stuff like that, even though they clearly like rip off a lot of stuff that's popular. But it's kind of different. I mean, it's like you don't really have like a slasher killer like this type of guy, really. It's like almost like a cross between like an adventure film and like an action film and a slasher film. And then there is a 6-minute interview with the Mexican special effects team, or the guy who did the effects, Jorge Farfan. And that one was kind of simple. They didn't really do a lot. They basically they talked a lot about what they couldn't do. like oh, we want to have bigger like fire, but like we were in the woods and we didn't have like fire truck and stuff. and we didn't want to cause a forest fire. So basically, stuff like that.
The fire shit they did was pretty substantial. Like, there's some really like decent explosions in this movie.
He was like, he's like, Pedro was the director. Pedro was like really disappointed because he wanted to have like a big mushroom cloud, but we couldn't do it. And then the last little the last feature on there is from Super Blonde to Movie Villain, a 12-minute interview with actress Marisol Santa Cruz, which was pretty fine interview, like just her talking about the film. This was her first film, and you know, she actually
who was she in the film?
The blonde.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she actually talked about how,
isn't there
like,
two blondes?
It's like the main blonde, I think. The love interest of
Nacho.
Is that the one?
Nacho? Nacho. Dude's fucking name's Nacho, bro.
I thought there was two blondes. That's why I was confused. I'm like, the super blonde. I'm like, isn't there two?
I don't.
Yeah, there's two. Like, one is like part of the entourage of like the rival.
It doesn't one of the blondes get killed like on the fucking hood of the vehicle?
I think that's her.
Oh, that is her.
She's the one.
She's the one that gets like pulled out, right? And then like slashed.
Yeah.
I think so. I think. But anyway, she says that her grandmother went to the premiere of the movie or whatever, and it like she's like freaking out, like, why did you kill her? And stuff. She's like mad that they killed her granddaughter.
Is there
She's
nudity in this movie?
Girl.
Is there any titties?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
That's what I'm like, I don't think there was any titties.
No, and then they also said that the movie actually made like decent money too in Mexico and had a theatrical release. So
it was fucking mad fun, man. I had so much fucking fun with this movie, man.
Yeah, I did too. I really, really enjoyed it. That's what I'm saying. This month was a really solid fucking month.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gave this a 7 out of 10, but it's a great 7. Like it's awesome. Definitely check it out if you haven't.
I love the mask. It's so simple, but it was so
it's simple,
effective.
but it really works.
Very effective, man. It was creepy as shit, man. But I was like, I couldn't believe when he got his hand blown off. I thought that was so fucked up in the film. I was like, that's such a cool turn of events.
I was like, cool. I totally didn't expect
because he had like a bow and shit, and all of a sudden he only has one hand, and I'm like, he's all trapped and shit, and I'm like, this is crazy, man.
And it barely slowed him down.
It didn't slow him down at all, really. Got worse after that, I think. But
I love these the like Mexican films that Vinegar Syndrome has released over the years. Like, I feel like Mexico doesn't get a lot of love, you know.
They've been all hits, man.
Yeah. Like
Cemetery of Terror, there's been so many good ones, man. I mean, these were released years ago on DVD and stuff, but they were kind of obscure and hard to get. But
Hell's Trap is actually the last one that's on that old Crypt of Terror set.
Yeah,
that had like Grave Robbers and Cemetery of Terror.
Okay.
Yeah.
So which have all been Syndrome.
All released, all of them
now.
Yep. And they're all good movies, man. I like Grave Robbers. They're all fun.
Yeah, that freaking Cemetery Terror is like awesome as hell.
It's fucking amazing, dude.
They all kick ass. That, Grave Robbers, Don't Panic, like all of them are really fucking.
I even like the Vacation of Terror movies.
I gotta get into I gotta watch those. I was actually gonna do those for 31 days, but I just kind of forgot about it.
Are you doing 31 days this year?
I've already recorded the first 6 or 7.
I don't know if I am.
I have to, because like I'm gonna be gone for the first 12, like 10 days, right? So
no, I'm saying I don't know if I'm doing it this year because I left off on 12 last year.
Dude, it was 12, right? Oh, that's so bad.
Usually
it's like day 19 or whatever, day 21, and then
what's your record?
For what?
Have you actually completed a 31?
Twice.
Okay,
Twice.
cool.
2 times. 2 times in 12 years.
I have never not completed. I've
never
missed a day.
It later.
Never missed a day.
I've always finished it later. Like, I've never not finished it. Like, I'll do it a year. I'll finish it a year later. But like last year, right before the new, that's why we fucked up last year. I had to do like 20 before I even started.
Yeah.
But
you should just do them in the same year. It's so much easier.
Maybe. I don't know. I'll have to get cracking watching stuff if I want to do it.
So this is the 8th year I've done, or the 8th time I've done it. And this is the first time I've ever pre-recorded this many episodes because I've never had to do that. Because all the other years I would literally do day 1 to 31 in a row. Just tough it out. But so far it's been fun.
I would just record them all beforehand and then just like enjoy
Yeah, well,
your
if you have the
October.
time
Well, I'm
to
going to try
watch
and
the
record as much
movies.
as I can because we have a busy motherfucking October, man. And there's no, and I know for a fact if JP started doing it, all the shit we got going in October, you're going to fuck that up big time.
I'll probably still end up trying to do it just because I'm fucking stupid, but
Okay.
We're down.
All right. Anyways, that's on to you, Tyler.
All right. So for this month, the graces of cinematography have fallen back into my arms, and not because I thought like their follow-ups were so impressive, but Robert Altman is my guy. Robert Altman is one of my favorite filmmakers, and this is his 1974 film Thieves Like Us. Even before I get into it, like visually, I think this is my favorite looking cinematograph so far. I think the color scheme, like usually this isn't a color I'd like, but it just like it's kind of like really fitting to the movie.
Mhm.
And I think like that cover that just that's pretty clean. But yeah, Robert Altman's someone I'm a really big fan of. He's someone he's like he really kind of like innovated that like the big like ensemble cast. This was still pretty early in his career, and it was really in a lot of these people's careers, but yeah, he likes to make movies that seem not really like have like one sole main character often, but there's like a lot. He makes movies like lots of like big casts. Well, yeah, I guess they usually have a main character, but yeah, big cast movies like usually and like when he was like running good and like he actually had access to like people. He had like these crazy like Hollywood casts. He had like a really successful 70s, and honestly, I think this is like why this movie kind of gets like he isn't really as known as like some of his other 70s movies because it's like it's smacked in the middle of movies like The Long Goodbye, like MASH, Nashville, Three Women. He was just crushing them in the
Images.
images. Brewster McCloud like became a Mrs. Miller. Like this is just his 70s. The guy's insane. Then he made like Popeye in the 80s and everyone hated it. And they didn't let him make movies for like 10 years. Then he made
Popeye's good.
like that like
isn't
sunk
Shelley
his
Duvall
career.
in that too?
Yeah.
Yep, he used a lot of the same people in his movies. He had like a
Dude,
lot of
she
constant
Shelley
collaborators.
Duvall is literally perfectly casted as
She's in a
Olive
lot of his
Oil.
movies. She gave her first role. Like so like he like somebody like referred like her like someone introduced her to him like at a party and they were like, I gotta take this girl for screen test. And like he put her in Brewster McCloud in 1970. I believe that was her first role. She wasn't an actor or anything when he found her. But yeah, this movie is really cool. It's based on a novel of the same name. I'm not sure if the novel is actually like this movie, where it's like set in like downtown Mississippi, or if that's just a Robert Altman thing. But I think but this movie is pretty good. I liked it. I actually ended up really liking this movie a lot. Um, it centers it gets right out of the gate and you got these two guys running down the road and they run into a pedestrian and or not a pedestrian a guy driving down the road and they get him to stop to like get him a ride. Then you notice there's a third guy in the back seat wearing the same clothes they're wearing, and they're wearing like prison labor camp clothes, like think like Cool Hand Luke. And then the guy in the back like passes a gun to one of the guys, and then they hijack the guy for his car. And then you learn these are three guys that just busted out of prison together. And they get out of there to hide out, and they go to this garage that's an acquaintance of one of the guys. That's kind of where this movie starts to develop, and you start to learn about them. And what I really like about this movie is like there's a lot of like this is a lot of Altman movies where he has like there's a lot of these just like quirky like individual characters. So these guys are guys that just broke out of prison, and they all kind of love the life. Like they're those type of criminals. One is much younger than them. That's the character played by Keith Carradine. He's really like the star of the movie. And he was put into you find out he was put into prison when he was 16. And he's been there pretty much like half his life, and it's like suspicious like circumstances why he was even put in prison. It might have been unfairly. Then you got another guy, T-Dub, who's played by Burt Rebson, another really like constant Altman collaborator.
Hmm.
And he's like an old guy. He's a bank robber, and he loves robbing banks. Like robbing banks is his thing. And then you got another guy, and then you got your third guy who is Chickama, and he is played by John, I believe, Schultz, something like that. But he's like kind of like he's the wild card of the group. He's kind of unhinged. He also loves the criminal life, but he's got that aura of him, like not too smart. All I know is like brute force. But like what's really interesting is it doesn't like really portray them as like bad men personally. Like they're just like these depression era guys, like it's just all in a day's work. And it's being set like down in Mississippi. It's got this like really like cool like southern like Mississippi like pulpy vibe to it, and it gives like the movie like a nice texture, and I did like that about it. So they go to an acquaintance, I believe he's T-Dub, the older like more like the guy that loves bank robbing. They go to like hide out at a garage where the garage owner is Tom Scare, another constant Altman collaborator in these days. All these people on this movie worked with Altman, all the main people worked with Altman before this movie, and everyone but the guy who played Chickama worked with him afterwards. And then like Burt Rebson was like in like 6 movies after. Shelley Duvall was in a lot of his movies. So like he kind of like his characters have a lot of really good chemistry because they're constant like these people are work together already, and they've worked with like Altman a bunch of times. And that's why his movies like he has these really like cool like character driven movies. But the garage owner's daughter is Shelley Duvall, who plays a character who plays like this kind of naive girl, Chi-Chi. Or what's her name? I wrote Kichi. Oh my God, I've had too much to drink
Chi-Chi?
already. Kichi.
Chi-Chi is
Like Chi-Chi, like the
But
drink?
Kichi.
like the
But yeah,
restaurant.
so they like her and the younger character because he's a little bit older than her. He's just like he's like a mid-20s guy and she's like early 20s. Like it's that kind of vibe, and they're just like they just kind of like vibe right away. They spend time just like talking, hanging out together, and he's more relatable to her, I think, than like anybody else. And same thing with her, and she's kind of just like a shelter person. They just like they just kind of meld. They kind of meld together, and so they spend some time there. It kind of plants the seeds for later on in the movie. Then they leave again to, I believe, T-Dub's sister-in-law. And there's another like ensemble person, it's Louise Fletcher, who was a year later was Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And they're hanging out there to hide out, biding time. Then you start to learn more about like the type of person T-Dub is, like the guy that just like loves robbing banks. And he's like a really like jovial, just like happy dude that just happens to like rob banks. It's kind of they all kind of like play off each other. It's kind of cool, and he's got like an eye for his sister, one of his sister-in-law's daughter, who's like obviously much younger than him, but yeah, he's got like eyes for her, and this thing starts to develop between them, and it kind of like just like spends like probably the first hour of this movie really just hanging out and getting yourself acquainted with the characters. Uh, they go rob a bank together, everything goes well, and they're like in their games like, all right, like this is the 36th bank I robbed, and they're all hyped up to do it again. And then like one day, they're just like driving and they're driving around in, like these cars and fucking around. It's Bowie, that's the character played by Keith Carradine. Bowie and Chickama are just like driving around, like fucking around the road, and they get into a bad car. Bowie gets into a bad car accident and gets seriously injured. And they're all like, at this point too, like they're fugitives on the run, so they're like starting to like show up in like newspapers and such. And so he has to get him out of there like quick. So like, and he like ruins this other girl in this car accident. He like destroys this girl, and he pulls, so like his buddy like pulls him out of the car, and then tries to like leave the scene, and two cops show up, and they're like and like they, you know, they're cooked if like they get to leave with them. So this guy like murders the cops and gets away, and that's like where the plot really like takes off like in this movie. This is like the halfway point, and there's like it just like it goes in a bunch of directions from there. But it's really like then it really becomes more, because he gets injured here. He has to hide out and kind of like, and they all have to separate. They're not just hanging out together the whole time, because like they're on the run and everything. And that's where he ends up back at the garage, and then ultimately like hiding away late with the Shelley Duvall's character, and it becomes like like he goes into hiding in some cabin in the woods, and she comes with him, and it's kind of like like that trope that like really kind of got popular with Bonnie and Clyde, like of like the couple like on the run. And it it kind of just barrels towards like a conclusion from there. And like the last hour I think is great, so I don't want to like give anything away from that. But like one thing I liked about this, one thing I thought was like interesting about this movie, just the way they treated the characters, and like the way I thought it's a really suspenseful movie. That's what I want to talk about, like the back half of the movie, because I thought the back half, once it really got rolling, was like great. And I don't really want to like give away any of that, but it kind of like played on these trope where of like the three dudes are just they start to observe things and have arcs along the way, but they're three dudes that like love criminals, and like Shelley Duvall's character is kind of like this naive girl that gets caught up in it. And it's just the film kind of like it has a good like hard ending to that, like wraps all this around just about like the lifestyle and everything that happens. And I thought it made it. I thought it was really good for what he did. Um, this is like he's made a lot of great movies. I'd probably still put this somewhere in the middle of the movies I've seen from him, maybe even in the back half. But he was just such a tremendous filmmaker that, man, like even like a movie like this that I think is great is like just not even like a top film for him. But
Yeah,
I
low
think
tier
most
for Altman is just like A tier for literally almost anyone else.
yeah, but I like this movie a lot. I thought it did take a little bit to get rolling in the first half. I went back and like rewatched a little bit of it just to make sure I was clear on all the details. But yeah, this was like it was a really cool crime thriller. I like the way like all the characters' personalities bumped off each other. And I wonder
I'd say it's
I
more of a drama than a thriller.
the front half I would say is a drama. The back half I would say
JP, you actually watched this one?
I
Jesus.
did watch it.
Good Lord.
So the thing about what was I gonna say again? Yeah. What was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought.
I
Well,
did that.
yeah, so let me jump to the special features while I regain that. So this is one thing about this release is the special features are not great. You have two commentaries and an archival interview with Keith Carradine, and like the essays that come with these. It is a 50-year-old movie. Like there's only so many people involved that could really talk about it, but it is like a little disappointing. As far as the release goes, like I said, I think the packaging is insane, and I think the transfer is great. It looks great. I ended up really liking this movie a lot, and this is like a cinematograph movie. I would be happy to pick up if more films on the line were of this quality. I
Yeah,
would
I was
probably
gonna say,
consider
I feel like
collecting it.
this film feels
I think
like
this,
what I imagined the
yeah.
line to be, more than like a couple of the ones we've had recently.
Yeah, I think this is my favorite one so far, honestly, even with like the weak special features. But I do have something a little special prepared tonight for the lack of special features, I kind of made my own special feature.
Shut the fuck up.
There was a comment on the last show that I should watch the remake of this,
Oh.
or the original of this movie, a film called They Live by Night by Nicholas Ray. And I had actually seen that movie and owned that movie. So I actually watched this movie as well. And I actually do like this movie better. But but also at the same time, this movie made me like Thieves Like Us more. The name of the novel is Thieves Like Us, so it's changed to They Live by Night in this one. And it's funny because they say like they're just thieves like us like 5 times in this movie. This movie, it's actually this one is way more of like a like a noir like romance like thriller, and it's way more of an on the run movie than this one is. The big difference is this movie, the escapees from prison, they are like not big. They are very their parts are very trunicated down. They really don't you don't ever really spend any time with them. So like all their subplots and like their personality that really adds the runtime to that movie are not here. And this is also it's not set in Mississippi like the Altman film. It's really inconsequential where this is, but I think I would assume it's somewhere in the north based on just like what they're wearing. But I liked this movie a lot. This movie had like stunning black and white cinematography. Nicholas Ray is a director I've probably talked about before. I'm a giant fan of Nicholas Ray. This was his first movie, and he handled like the the youth and revolt like on the run like aspect of this really well. I think like 6 or 7 years later, he directed Rebel Without a Cause. And you can really see the shades of that in this movie. But yeah, this story is much more focused on the couple, on like the Kichi and Bowie character. And the thing that was really interesting about this movie is Bowie is like basically an innocent, reluctant criminal in the They Live by Night, whereas in Thieves Like Us, he loves the life and like he has an arc in the movie, but like he's just like them, and like they all like what's interesting about the Altman movies, they start to see like themselves and they start to see like an uncomfortable reflection. Whereas like in that movie, he was always just like this like kind of like unfortunate like youth that got like he's a victim of circumstance and he doesn't like want to be like this, and it's just like much more developed, and it's the really like different type of movies if you want like a more just like personal like intimate like like no like crime romance movie, this is like the pick. But if you want something that's more like a pulpy like action like fun like more like fun character movie, like this is what you pick. They're pretty close, I think, but I do like this movie a little bit more. But it was really interesting to see the different takes, and I felt like after watching this that like he took the same story and he Altmanized it, whereas like he added his flair, having these like eccentric characters that are like all really unique, having this like cool southern town, which isn't the last time he ended up going to those roots. His last film was like about like the country music scene in a southern state. Then a film he made 2 years after this, or I think 1 year after this, actually, Nashville, was obviously about the country scene in Nashville. And yeah, he's definitely felt at home in the South. I rewatched a little bit of the beginning just to get and I threw in the commentary where I did that. I was just trying to get some details in order. And the commentary I chose was the archival one by Altman. And I loved it. He said, well, it's been 23 years since I made this movie. That's a long time. And it kind of made me laugh because he was closer to the move to that movie's release when he made that in 1997 than we are to hearing him make that commentary.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah. That was wild to me. So yeah, that was kind of cool. One thing he did say like about the movie that was really funny is he had a story about like the garage shop. At the beginning, he's like, "Oh, I remember this. The guy that owned the shop was a one-eyed terrible person. There was a bunch bunch of little black kids running around. He was just awful. He shot their dog, and then they had a
What the
pony,
hell?
and he shot their pony too. And I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck? He's like,
Good
just an awful
God.
person.
Lord.
That made me fucking die because I was just thinking of some like southern fucking redneck in Mississippi in 1974. What?
Fucking sounds like it.
That dude's just
Yeah.
like doing goofy shit. Like it's just like every other day.
Yeah, but it made me laugh. So I'm sure that's actually good commentary. He wasn't boring at all. He had a lot to say. He kind of not a lot to say, but he had like something to say about pretty much a lot of stuff. And being like 97, like he's like at this point, he had like had his great run in the 70s, got basically cut off from making real movies in the 80s. He made a lot of low budget stuff. Then he caught fire again when he made The Player in 92 and got to like have like a second career. So he was like kind of in the midst of that when he made that. So he was really interesting to listen to. He sounds pretty sharp in it too. I thought it was a moderator talking at first because he would have been like in his 70s recording this and he sounded like a young man. Well, not like a young man, but he didn't sound like a 70-year-old. So yeah, that I mean, as far as commentaries go, that's probably cool. But yeah, I would give both these movies an 8, but I do think this one's better. But it's really just like pick your poison.
Yeah, I liked it too. I thought it was pretty decent. I'm a big fan of that era of the South in film. I just think it gives it such a maybe because I'm like not anywhere near the South, you know. So it always just is like fascinating, like that time period. And in general, I just like that time period for movies. Simpler time. I just like the way people communicate and talk. Usually like the dialogue is like more fancy and it's like
Yeah.
very easy to listen to and like it makes you more engaged in the movie because
Yeah.
you like you're paying attention to like how they're saying things and stuff.
I
But
actually always thought this was like some sort of like, you know, like Jesse James game bank robber type movie, like set in like the 1800s. So I was a little bit surprised, like when there's like a car in the opening scene.
yeah. What is it, the 40s?
It's the
30s.
20s. It's the
The 20s?
or it's
Oh,
like late
shit.
20s or early 30s.
No, it's set in the 30s. It's set in I
Yeah.
think in
It's
I
I
think it's still
just
Prohibition, I think.
it's Depression era. That's what the novel. I guess that's all. That's what they
So
kept
it'd be
saying
like
about the novel.
30s.
Yeah, I think
Depression
it's
era.
I think it actually might be set in 36 actually, but
Yeah, I love that era of time.
you know, aesthetically, I mean, Robert Altman has done, you know, amazing films. Aesthetically, this film is fantastic. I think that it just looks really fucking good. I mean, you think about it. It's shot in 74 or released in 74, set in the 30s, 40 years prior. Um, Beautiful film. Really well acted.
You
But
didn't like it.
fuck me if I was not bored as hell. This is my least favorite Robert Altman film I've ever seen.
Damn.
I
Well,
was
it
so
really
fucking
focuses on the romance too. So
and that, you know, honestly, man, I was really hoping, given the synopsis of the film, that it was going to focus on the crime elements of it, and it does, but it doesn't. It focuses, like Tyler said, it's a character driven piece, so to the point where it's like, fuck, man, like I just want some of the action. I want some of we get some of that. It doesn't focus on it enough. I've never seen the original film, and I've never read the source material. But I hear that, you know, even like the source material is like is a little bit more violent. It's a
The
little bit more.
ending to the source material was wicked dark, and neither movie do it. Like, what's the actual ending to the book? Yeah, the ending to this one is like much more like heartbreaking, and it's like it's like a harder
But I mean,
statement.
even in Thieves Like Us, like I mean, it
Yeah,
still has, you know, I
this
mean,
one,
if you're
yeah,
engaged in the
this one,
characters, it's still heartbreaking, I guess, in a
yeah, I
sense. But
agree, I
yeah,
agree.
it's even
But this
more
one,
fucked up in the original ending though.
yeah,
yeah, one thing about this movie also I would give a nod to is this movie is not held back by any type of like violence code of the time, where this movie is way more violent, where they actually like shoot people and shit.
Yeah.
Where like, you don't really see that. You like it's more of like gunshot implied. Like
So
and
you said in the original film adaptation, if it doesn't focus as much on romance,
it
or
focuses more on the romance.
so how fuck crazy because everything I
But
read
it's
was like that.
but it's 96 minutes. So it's not like you don't have like the biggest difference other than like the setting is they added because they added in like more stuff for like T-Dub and Chicama,
Mhm.
like that bloated the runtime and it also made them like basically split in an event that happens in the original movie into into like two events to like compensate for you getting to like know the other characters and everything. Where this one is like you meet the criminals, like you get the highlights of like the interactions between the criminals in this. Like there's a really like good scene where like the where Chickamauga is like he's really jealous of the fact that like the papers think that like Bowie's a badass and like that like there's an element to both those scenes in both these movies, but this one like cuts the bullshit and there's like a more of like like a suspense scene like in Thieves Like Us where like it leads to the same result.
Mhm.
But the biggest difference is like just the treatment of the characters since you only focus on one. Like you're way more invested in the relationship because like it's more natural. It's not them just vibing and like shooting the shit. And I get the impression the first one like Shelley's kind of a naive like girl, and this is like the original one's more of like a doomed lover's tale.
Oh yeah, I feel like Shelley Duvall's character in the film, I've never found her to be. She doesn't have a lot of range. Just put it that way. Like, there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with her acting in the film, but I feel like Shelley Duvall plays the same character in a ton of her films. Like, I feel like I'm watching Thieves Like Us, and I'm seeing her character in The Shining. It's like the same character. It's
Yeah, she has the
weird.
same like kind of like goofy like and this too like delivery.
It's weird because it's like this kind of like denounced, like kind of subdued character. I don't know. It's hard to explain with her, man. Like she always kind of delivers her performance the same way. It's very strange to me. Um, you know, man, I was just fucking. I was really hoping for something else with this one, but man, I was bored as hell throughout this whole thing. I just did not care about the romance. I wanted more because like the film starts out with like these guys breaking out and like, oh shit, this is gonna be fucking awesome. This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
And when you got like this kind
Seems
of
pretty
mixed
easy to
bag of
break someone out of jail.
when you have this
That
mixed bag of
Probably back then it
characters, you have
was.
a young criminal, you have a fucking alcoholic criminal, you got like, this old school character. Like you have this dynamic of fucking criminals. And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be awesome because you're gonna
you
get
know what
this
it was
different
missing? It was
perspectives.
missing a Mr. Pink. I could have
It-
used the Mr. Pink.
yeah.
This was
But we have
my
this dynamic of characters and it never plays out. And like one of the awkward moments in the film for myself was like the scene where they are basically practicing their bank robbery with the family. I was like, this is so fucking odd. Like it was odd and awkward at the same time. I'm like, what the fuck? It's just like I couldn't make any sense of why this was happening. And I'm like, so this mom is okay with her kids being exposed to it felt so fucking
Different. It's
awkward.
like I think it's just like certain. You know how like certain
It felt
like
goofy
crime
too.
families are just like if you grew up around like parents that use drugs or whatever.
But
You
it
know,
felt
they
so
weren't like
moralist though. Like I understand these guys are loving the criminal life and stuff, like, but they're literally just teaching the kids that this is okay to do. And I'm like, okay, you don't have to pull morals and all that type of shit from film, but it felt awkward to me. It felt really awkward. But the end result for the film for myself was beautiful film. I thought for the most part it was really well acted. Um, and it's obviously shot really fucking well. I mean, the aesthetic of the film is beautiful, but it's just for me it was fucking boring. It was so
oh,
boring. I was expecting I wanted more of the crime elements, and I feel like you don't get any of that. It does focus more on the
no,
romance.
it's completely secondary.
Yeah, it's completely secondary, and I feel like
It's the
like it's
movie
a
at
source
its
material.
core is just about a guy who struggles with leaving the crime life and joining a woman that he becomes in love with.
Yeah,
It's not really a crime film.
no, it's really
Yeah.
not. It's like a fucking.
That's what I said. It's like a drama.
It's a romance film, basically. It's a drama
I
romance.
kind of felt like the stuff he chucked in the back half was like a lot of thriller, though.
It's
like
just
the
not for
whole
me.
scene.
It's just not for me. Like I'm not into, if it was a crime, romance, whatever. But like, yeah, it's more romance, drama.
That was my
Focused.
14th. That was my 14th Altman movie, and I think I put a ninth.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the worst. Like my least. I shouldn't say worst because it's not a bad movie at all. It's just not for me. It's just not for
Yeah, I haven't seen
for
a
what
movie.
I like.
I have one movie I gave 3 stars to, and everything else is like 3.5 or higher for him.
I mean, everything I've seen by Altman has been fantastic, man. He's
The only
never
movie
disappointed me.
The only movie I didn't really like love was Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean.
Okay.
It's a bunch of chicks crying in a restaurant.
Beautiful
So
packaging for
what do you,
another
like, rate it?
for another fucking miss for me. Cinematographe grab. Blah, blah, blah.
I give it an 8.
I gave it a 7.5.
I think I'm like in the 7 range for it.
Oh, Tony, you actually watched it? You didn't say a thing the whole time.
Tony doesn't slack, bro. He watches everything for the show.
I think
I mean,
gave
I
it, like,
liked it. I thought it was good. I mean, I'm not like a guy who like, I don't know, like I don't really like have expectations for things. I just like take it at face value. Like I'm cool with it just being like more of like a drama character study over.
No. I don't really generally put myself into like expectation territory. It's just giving what the synopsis was. I was like, okay, that sounds pretty fucking cool. And being an Altman fan, like a huge fan, yeah, it's just not. It wasn't for me, man.
I like the little slower. Like I'm down with like a more like romancy, like drama type of movie.
You
every
are
once in a
not.
while.
Now you're just fucking lying.
Yeah, no,
you're not
I
into
fucks with
romance
it
shit.
I think
sometimes,
I'm
bro.
telling you, then They Live by Night is the movie for you because the romance is like more than twice as good in this movie.
All right. Well, I probably won't watch that, but
It's also shot better.
all right. So everybody, what did you rate it, Moodz?
I give it. I think it like a 5.
Ooh.
Like it's a good film. I just I could
Was
never
bored.
see myself ever doing that again.
Yeah, I mean, I've only watched I think 3 of the cinematographs, and it's not as good as Little Darlings, but I definitely thought it was.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite so far.
That's good.
Yeah, it's definitely
Crazy.
up there for me. I would probably still put Little Darlings and Red Rock West above that. So
Oh,
it'd probably be like
Red
my
Rock
Red Rock
West.
West was way better for me than that. Huh.
Red Rock West.
I would
be a
rewatch that one.
competition. I think I like it better than Red Rock West, honestly. It would like
Oh.
it's more memorable to me.
Not even close, man. That shit was
That's
a
just still the
fucking
worst
Starfest.
one though.
Touch is by far the worst.
Yeah, Touch was
I don't know.
fucking. Why did
Honestly,
we feature review that damn
No,
thing?
Touch was the most disappointing one. It was honestly.
I think Going South was worse than Touch, but Touch was more disappointing.
Touch was so disappointing given
'Cause Touch
everything
was a-
that. Oh man.
Touch was a Paul Schrader movie with a good cast. Like Going South was someone decided to let Jack Nicholson make a movie.
All right. All right.
Yep. All right.
So
I thought you were gonna say something.
No, I wasn't gonna say anything.
Fuck, I was muted.
All right.
All right, so let's get into the feature review here. Everyone's got it up. Everyone's got it up.
I don't have mine near me, so.
All right. Anyways, so we're gonna take it back to 19. What we just
74?
74 again?
Spoiler
We're not taking
alert.
it anywhere, bro.
Yeah, we're staying in 1974 actually. With a film called Devil's Time times
You
5.
fucked that up.
What do you mean?
It Devil times 5, right?
Yeah, Devil times 5.
What did I call it? Devil's Time 5? Yeah.
Yeah,
Devil
you did.
times 5.
Devil, you pluralized the devils and singular the time. You did it reverse.
Yeah, you know what, man? You're right. Because it was funny in my brain. I was thinking like devil, like there's 5 devils, like there's
Yeah.
multiple. Yeah, you're right.
But it's saying
just,
devil, one
right.
devil times 5.
Right. I never.
Which equals 5.
That's funny. That's really funny.
Because devils time 5 wouldn't make any sense.
No, it wouldn't.
No, I know our stupid selves.
Yeah, and okay, speaking on the fucking title of the movie, Devil times 5. So when you pop in the 4K,
it's not called that.
it comes up as Horrible House on the Hill.
Yeah. So most likely it never had a whatever print they used did not have that Devil times 5 title.
And then you look it up on IMDb and it comes up as People Toys.
Yeah, dude. There was a big thing in the 70s and especially in Italy, but even in America, I mean, there's so many titles for movies. Sometimes they would re-release movies and change the title, hoping people would go see it.
They would do that all the time.
Yeah. And that was the point of it. That was the point of it.
Dry.
Yeah. But I couldn't fucking believe it, man, because I've seen this movie a couple times in the past. I think it was released by Code back in the day and stuff I'd never even seen the title. I swear, Horrible House on the Hill, and then People Toys. I'm like, what the fuck? This is 3 different type of titles. I can see where they're coming from. We can market it this way, we'll do it this way, we'll show it at these teams. Just maximize it, right? Keep naming it different things, maximize your fucking, your get back here, but fuck me, man, it's crazy. So synopsis on the film, I'll read it. After 5 insane children are involved in a van wreck, they start killing people at large who insulted them or were rude to them. That's got to be the worst written synopsis I've ever heard. No, it's probably not the worst one, but
straight to the point, though.
It is to the point. So Devil's Time 5 is it's
saying it did it again.
Did I say devils?
Yeah.
Devil times 5. Fuck off with the S's.
Just call it People Toys.
I pluralized the wrong word.
People
Who cares?
Toys.
Who cares? Everyone knows. Devil times 5. Yeah, it's essentially a killer kid film. I mean, this was popular before this. It was popular after this. It's always been popular, I think. What are your guys' thoughts on? Okay, well, let's start with who has seen this film before?
I've seen it multiple times.
Yeah, Tyler.
Nope.
No, I've known about it, but I've never seen it.
Interesting. I got to say, man, this is definitely the best it's ever looked. I mean, holy fuck, man! I was watching this, going, "Holy shit, that's crazy." So, Tony, what are your thoughts on the film?
I really like this movie. It's just really fucking sleazy. It almost is. It almost makes you uncomfortable to watch. It's definitely one of the sleazier killer kids movies because they're going to this house on the hill with just these adults that are just really, I don't know. They're just
they all suck. They're all douchebags.
They all suck. They're all douchebags. They're all the swinger type. They're all laying in bed with other different people, and all of a sudden these psychotic kids just show up and start picking them off one by one.
It's a weird premise too, because they're supposed to be all these kind of high active white fucking doctors and lawyers and shit like that, but you're right, they're sleazebag fucking pieces of shit, right? So is it justified?
Probably
I
not.
don't know. That's the weird thing about watching.
Is that the setup? Is that what
they're?
they're trying to do? They're trying to set up because they're all kind of fucking sleazebags and but it's funny because half the time the characters are portrayed as being high class. It's obviously in a rich mansion. They've got money and stuff like that. They've done well for themselves. But is that the justification for it? Because man,
Yeah, it really leaves you almost feelingless at the end of the movie because it's you don't root for the kids, you don't root for the adults, you're just watching things happen on screen. and then the movie ends.
That's a good point, dude. There's no one to root for here because you are introduced to these characters that are definitely not overly likable, for sure. And we know from the fact, like from the start, that these kids they definitely have issues. So it's kind of hard to root for them, even though they're kids. It's a weird dynamic, right? Like,
Yeah.
usually in type of films where you're always rooting for somebody, but you find yourself kind of in the middle here, where it's like douchebags, shitty kids. Like, you just find yourself going, okay, what's gonna happen?
And
Like,
I couldn't
it's
get over
weird.
like the fucking Papa Doc name.
Yeah.
I kept thinking of fucking 8 Mile.
Oh my god. Of course you were thinking of Eminem shit, man.
Papa
Jesus.
Doc.
Right.
I was thinking of like some Sesame Street shit. Like that just sounds like some dumbass like families.
It's
like
also
children's show.
creepy. I don't want to call some old dude Papa.
But it's funny because his employees call him like Papa Doc. Like, what the fuck kind of like sexual name is that shit? Like, there's definitely some other shit going on there.
Yeah, that mansion's like an Epstein Island time place.
It was Epstein Island for sure.
They're probably just
Yeah.
they're probably happy to like take these kids in because they're probably gonna like plan something crazy with them.
Well, I mean, the one fucking sleazy wife there, man, or whatever the fuck she was. I mean, that kind of sums it up a little bit.
The woman named Lovely.
Name Lovely, man. And I guess it was Papa Doc's wife, right? Or girlfriend, whatever the fuck she was. I'm not even sure.
Wherever she was.
They also love to use fucking slow-mo in this movie. I know that was probably annoying you.
Homie,
Yeah, that's
that
kind of
fucking
weird.
there was like
Hey,
a
you brought it up before
5-minute
I got to get to it.
slow-motion sepia fucking murder scene. That's
Yeah.
like 5 to 10 minutes long, dude.
So it honestly takes a little bit to get going in this film. So basically, the film starts out with these kids are being, they're being driven in this van or whatever. Anyways, which
Also,
is
the nun one is weird. Is she supposed to be a kid too?
Yeah.
yeah,
because
there's
she doesn't really seem like a kid.
Yeah, there's
how do
there-
you become a nun?
There's actually a story with her that's actually really crazy, but like in real life. So the original director of the film, apparently that was his underage girlfriend.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so the director of the film, the original director, got kicked off this movie, but she stayed on as an actress. And yeah, so she
That's
apparently
fucking creepy.
yeah,
So
so
that adds to the sleaze factor.
so
of this
she's a
movie.
little bit
Yeah.
older than the rest of the kids, obviously, but she's still underage apparently. I'm thinking that she was like 16, 17 years old. But the reason why they put her in a nun outfit was to conceal her. She was
Her
an
womanhood.
no, she's fucking albine. She was like fucking white as shit. So they I don't know, that's what they did with
Wait,
her.
she was
but
albino?
yeah,
No
Why
shit.
would they want to conceal that? Wouldn't you
I don't
want
know.
to take advantage of something like that?
Yeah,
I have no
right.
idea.
yeah.
But they just use it to advance white face with the fucking black penguin outfit. I don't know.
I honestly like the whole like nun aspect of her character. It kind of made it a little bit creepy.
Yeah.
It is weird because like when the van crashes in the beginning of the film, it's such a fucking weird scene that like four of the kids are leaving, like, hey, help me. They're gonna like leave without their like, their fucking friend inside. I thought that was really bizarre. But like when they get out of there, isn't it weird? Like, oh shit, there's someone still in there.
Hey, motherfuckers!
Yeah, it's so bizarre. And then you realize you're like, oh shit, so everyone died, all the parents died, but we're like, oh no, the nun's still alive. But then you realize like she's one of the kids. What the fuck? It seems so awkward. It's such an awkward
So
scene.
it was supposed to be they were coming from a psychiatric place, right?
Yeah, they're all like in a fucking nut house, basically. So they were going to some place anyways, they crashed, which that scene is so bizarre because like if you watch the way they film this, it's very typical like where I live, where the roads will be like bone dry and then there'll be like 2 feet of snow on the sides because it's like that point in the winter. Anyways, they show the roads totally clean. they fucking weave off and then do their fucking tumble, which I actually thought the actual filming on the van tumbling down the hill and shit was actually done pretty well. It looked pretty fucking good. It looked really good actually. So that was kind of cool, but anyways, they escape out of there. All the adults are dead except for one apparently. We find out after, but which leads into what I was saying, about the slow motion kill. Oh my god, JP, you're so right. I forgot how fucking annoying that shit is. It takes a while for it. So these kids end up at this mansion, they get taken in and stuff. anyways, this person kind of comes up and they basically kill this guy, I swear, for like 15 minutes in slow-mo.
Takes a long time.
It
Yeah, I think
this
the
thing,
artistic, I think like artistically, what they were trying to do was like, you're seeing something so horrific, like children
Mhm.
murdering a guy that like you're really supposed to take it in, but like as people who have watched a million children killing people films, like
Yeah.
I have a
doesn't
theory.
really
I think
work.
what they're doing though, they're
It
beating around.
slaps some like weird
To me,
filter
I feel
on
like
it,
they're
too.
beating around the bush because using the slow-mo is actually dumbing down the killing to the point where you can slow-mo it and then you cut to these angles and stuff, and you're not really seeing a lot.
I bet
You're
you.
You're prolonging the scene and making you know mentally what's happening, but you're not seeing it really. And that's
I
what
bet
they're doing.
you. I bet you at normal speed that murder just looked whack as fuck.
Exactly.
I'm sure like the kids were probably just like so weakly hitting this guy that they're like, we got to do something
Yeah.
to like make this
That's a
like
fair
even
point.
watchable.
Yeah.
Because I was like
Yeah.
looking at the back, like it's 88 minutes long, so they obviously didn't need to pad the time out with that. I feel like it was just like a really badly shot scene that they just tried to like make the
Yeah.
best they could.
But there's more slow-mo in the movie too.
They kept doing this weird thing where it wasn't even like slow-mo, would just like freeze frame for a second. And I was kind of wondering, like, what is this trying to tell me? Like, what are we accomplishing with this?
I noticed that a few times, like when there's like shots of like something to read, like a sign, like it would clearly like have a freeze frame because you would just see like the film
Yeah.
brain just freeze for like a few seconds at a time. It was so distracting.
Yeah.
So-
and it started doing it really random times too, where it was like, why are we even here?
So it sounds like you guys don't like this movie.
No, I
I
don't
do
dislike
like this
it.
movie.
I think it's fine. But
This
it's
movie
like
is
I
so
like it.
weird.
I like it.
Like it's got this like, as much as like you can like bang on a lot of these things about this movie, like it has like that like weird charm to it. That it kind of carries itself by
Yeah,
that.
the
And it's,
kids
like,
come
it's
off
short.
like little bastards, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you're just
I like
like,
it.
dude,
Well, they're
these are-
supposed to though. They're supposed to
I like
because
the
they're a little
black kid.
bit
That
crazy.
kid's cool as fuck.
Yeah, the
That kid was,
black
like,
kid's the
really,
coolest kid.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
the
coolest kid.
soldier, the
Yeah,
soldier.
he's funny.
You know what I can't fucking believe in this movie, man? That fucking Sorrel Brooke is Harvey Beckman in the film. He's the dude that plays in Dukes of Hazzard. He's Boss Hogg in Dukes of Hazzard. Like it's
Really?
fucking yeah, dude. Like he fucking it's such a different role. Like you put that, you see him in this film and you put that in perspective, like how different he is in Dukes, man. You're like, holy fuck, crazy.
This was before Dukes, right?
Way before, yeah. Well,
Okay.
a few years, about
Well-
5 years, 4 or 5 years before Dukes came on. But his character as Boss Hogg is so fucking different. Like it's
Is that
it
show canceled because of the rebel flag? I feel like I haven't seen it on in years.
Maybe it's
in
like
syndication?
soft canceled.
I feel
Syndication,
like
yeah.
no one's gonna try.
Man, I watch this shit up, man. I mean, it's so
I
funny.
watched some of it too. Not
People
a
don't
lot,
even
but I
realize
remember
that the term Daisy Dukes shorts actually comes from Dukes of Hazzard.
Daisy Duke. Yeah,
Yeah, that's where the term comes from, is her character. Fuck, she was sexy, man.
because she always wore them short shorts.
Yeah, they call them
Got
Daisy
to put
Dukes,
on them
man.
Daisy Dukes.
Yeah, fucking amazing.
Did you guys read that the character or the actress that played Lovely is actually Leif Garrett's mom
And the little girl in the film too.
and a little girl? Isn't that fucking weird?
You know
Like,
what's okay?
The
So what's
scene where they're
wait.
like dragging her naked outside, including like them. Like what the fuck?
So I'm assuming when she was getting drowned in the tub and they're showing her boobies and stuff like that wasn't her kids in there.
Wait, those are her kids?
Real life kids. Those are birth children of hers.
No shit.
Interesting.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
shit.
Well,
So there's a scene where
who's
she's
Leif Garrett? What does Leif Garrett have to do with this?
an actor.
Well,
And
he's one of the
oh,
kids.
He's
Wait,
the main.
what?
He's the main kid. He's the kid that he's the pretty boy kid,
Wait,
Yeah,
are you
he's the one that
serious?
like wears a wig like through half the movie.
and he has this
I did
weird
not
moment where he
fucking know
dresses up
that.
like a girl and shit. Like that's a weird
That-
fucking.
Yeah. that
Yo,
a
what
weird
was
moment.
up with that? Because
No
that was
idea.
like literally like 2 minutes of the entire runtime, and it like is never brought up again.
I guess you just
Never
chalk it up
addressed.
to him already being crazy as fuck because he's like in this institution. I have no idea, but like
Like
it's a
that kid
weird
is
moment.
full blown psychopath.
It's fucking weird when they all of a sudden they cut to the scene where he's dressed like a girl in a mirror and he's
Full
unrecognizable.
makeup.
He's unrecognizable.
wig.
You don't even know who it is until he takes the wig off and you're like, holy fuck.
Yeah,
It's
kinda
funny
Weird
because
moment.
he like rips the wig off and he's got like really, really short hair. You know what I mean? Like shorter than what his hair is throughout the movie. And then like throughout the movie, he's wearing this really terrible wig in like certain scenes.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
it is
4K
it,
definitely didn't help with that.
I definitely had to note that too. Like, it's so weird that she is the actual mom of them, but like the scene where she's being drowned in the tub, one of her kids is supposedly in that room, in the bathroom. And I'm like,
Interesting.
okay, did that happen? But even when
That's
she's
some
being drugged
Dario
outside,
Argento shit right there.
when she's being drugged outside, that's her body.
What
And
is
both her kids are there too, and it's fucking crazy. And I'm like, that's fucking weird because I looked it up too, and I was like, damn,
yeah,
that's
like,
fucking
hey
weird.
kids, go drag this naked woman like
Yeah,
in the snow.
It's
You're
so
definitely
strange.
like you keep adding more sleaze factors to this movie that have nothing to do with like what we're seeing on screen.
Oh yeah,
Like,
everything
this
about
is crazy. This movie's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, those little anecdotes are super fucking awkward, man.
It also has a
really weird.
like piranhas in here randomly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
she
that
was
was
the one
weird.
that got killed by the piranha.
Yeah, in the bathtub. Yeah, the piranha scene
Yeah.
was actually pretty fucking horrific.
Did you notice,
apparently one of them was actually alive that they thought was dead and it bit the actor.
Oh damn. Did you notice like
Really?
when
Yeah.
the little girl was asking about it, Papa Doc was like, they're piranha, like lasagna.
Yeah.
Like piranha. Who the fucking says piranha?
I don't fucking know, man. Oh my god. Yeah, this one takes a little bit to get going. I mean, like I said, we get that kill. One of the doctors or whatever the fuck you want to call them at the beginning of the film, but it takes a long time to get going.
Yeah, it's like it's never like a fast movie either, but it's just like it's entertaining enough, and just the weight of having like killer kids. The kids are actually pretty good in this movie. They're
Yeah,
just
I feel
that
like this one doesn't really hold back. Like sometimes when you're dealing with killer kids, like they're more careful what they do with the movie.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
this one feels like anything could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kids are brutal as fuck. Like besides that one murder that we're just like harping on, like the rest of the kills in this movie are pretty awesome and pretty brutal.
Like there's moments where you don't expect to, like when the one dude's girlfriend gets the fucking through the spike through the window through the neck, like that type of kill. You're like, what the fuck, man?
That was a surprise.
Yeah, it's a total surprise. You're like, holy shit, dude. Like I thought that they were gonna be the surviving couple, but I mean, this is one of those movies where I love the fact of how it ends. It's so good.
It ends the way it should end.
It does,
Yeah.
man. It's so crazy. Like you think that maybe it might go a different way, but it totally doesn't. And it goes that way, and you're like, oh shit. Okay. That's pretty cool. I do like. Oh man, I can't even say that. Actually, it happened twice in this episode.
Think of what I like.
Two movies ended with the same kind of not prologue, the epilogue. The movie I reviewed said something, and this one says the same thing. I'm like, that's really fucking weird, man. It's
Oh yeah.
I didn't even catch that.
yeah, it says the exact same thing, which is so weird. But on that note, I'm like, man, this movie could have warranted a sequel. It really could have, but it doesn't need one, obviously. But
Devil times 10.
yeah, they
Oh my
they
God.
escape to the woods and they create a fucking whole pack of murders, man. Yeah,
It's like the
find more
Offspring.
They
Yeah.
find more murderous kids. They just bump into them.
oh man, but there is some good. I love the scene, dude, where they have Papa Doc. as a fucking snowman. They have literally made a
Oh my
human
God.
snowman. I fucking laughed at that. I'm like, that's such a kid thing to do, right? It made fucking perfect sense. I thought it was pretty cool.
It was also kind of like creepy because they're like dancing around his like corpse and they're just like throwing snow at him as
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's like they're building the snowman, but they're also kind of like embarrassing him, like
Mhm.
his corpse.
I like the fact that the kids are still kids. And especially how you talk about the soldier kid, right? Like he's
Yeah,
literally playing soldier, but he's acting like kid, but he's completely insane though too. And then but the kids are still kids, but they're not kids. I
yeah.
love that aspect.
I think that the interesting thing about this one, when you talk about killer kid films, especially in the 70s, a lot of times you got like a religious aspect or like an actual evil. Whereas this one, even though it's
Right.
titled Devil Times Five, it doesn't have really anything to do with that other than just like
No.
metaphorically that
Yeah.
they're little devils. But the fact that like they're just kids who have a lack of they're psychopaths.
Reality.
They have a
Yeah.
lack of care for other people, or like any moral compass. um it's kind of cool that it's like that when
Mhm.
you're so used to getting like spawn of Satan type evil
Yeah, there's always an
characters.
influence. There's always an influence to these kids,
Yeah,
these killer kids and stuff, where this one, it seems a little bit more natural. These kids are just kind of born fucked up, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I like the portrayal because, like I said, the kids feel like they're
Like
real
kids.
kids. They
Yeah.
feel like they're real kids, but they're
Well,
just
I think I read
But they're
that some of the
feral.
actors said that it was a really fun shoot. Like when they were kids, it was like they were on vacation. So that definitely feels like it translated to the film.
Mhm. Right. So I always like knowing that I'm not even sure what her name is. The mother of the two kids, like how that all came about. It's pretty interesting that like she would have two of her natural kids, Carol Stellar. And
Yeah, I
They're a
wonder if
package
there's like
deal.
some special features on here that
I
talks
got
about
I
any
gotta
of
say,
that.
man, Carol Stellar, man, she is so I looked her up. She was 40 years old in this film. Oh my God, she's fucking beautiful. Like sexy,
For
sexy,
40
sexy.
years old, by God.
Mhm.
But she doesn't look 40 at all, man. Like I don't know, there's something about her, man. Oh, she looks so good. Like, but I'm thinking, man, fuck, she's got two kids that are pretty decently old. I mean, she's doing pretty good for herself there. Yeah, so Leif Garrett and Don Lynn, which have taken, Garrett. I mean, that's not his born name, but they've taken some different names. But
This was before he like made it big as like a little heartthrob, right?
yeah,
I
way
assume that was
before.
probably like what, late 70s?
Yeah, this is a few years before that. Yeah,
Okay.
Who,
yeah,
Leif Garrett?
because he's what 12 or
Isn't he in the
11, 12.
Outsiders?
I
Yeah.
think he's one of the socias in it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
main one or
yeah. No,
something.
he did a bunch of shit, man. You know that you would know him,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is pre-fame. He's probably the one that probably made it the biggest, really bigger than his mom and his sister.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, just for the fact that he had like a music career.
yeah, yeah. But surprisingly, his mom didn't make it bigger because holy shit, damn, dude.
For real. She could have
Because
had a fucking career.
oh my god, fucking, she was so hot, man.
I also kind of like the music of this movie. I liked how like in random moments there were like little like recorder excerpts that literally sounded like that they were just being played by children. Like they sounded just like kind of off, pretty flat. Like I really like that. It just added like a weird little like vibe to the movie.
You know what, man? The one thing about this movie that I feel like it feels so fucking goddamn messy at times. And like, so I had to look it up after because I'm like, man, the editing seems a little bit off to me. Things seem a little bit awkward and stuff. And then, you read on the film and the fact that like the original director was fired off the film and stuff, right? But it's like undisclosed on like how much he shot of the film and how much the other guy shot of it. But I feel like it's like a mismatch, right? I don't know.
It does seem like a fucking mess of a movie. Like it was probably just a complete nightmare to make from beginning to end.
I'm thinking there was definitely a lot going on, but like when you watch it, like I didn't even know that there was two directors. I'm just kind of watching him going, what the fuck is with the editing? It seems awkward to me. Yep. But that's the type of shit I'm always interested in when I'm watching films is like when you notice things like that, like how much did he direct? And like why did he actually get fired off the film? And like what did this guy actually direct and
Because
stuff?
he's a
like,
fucking weirdo, apparently.
apparently, man, with his I found it so weird
Underage albino girlfriend.
yeah, that like she was the underage
Wait,
girl.
was she for sure underage? Or are we making shit up? Do we
No.
need fact-
Tyler
Tyler fact
says
check
it
that.
says in the fact it says in the fucking in the facts that she was underage. And
Next
it
thing you
might
know,
have
we
been
got
the reason
fucking
why he was.
that guy coming over trying to sue us or something.
It might have been the reason why he got fired.
I
Who
did
knows?
not
Who
do
knows?
that.
That's kind of crazy though.
I
That
did not
she was
have sexual
underage.
relations with that albino underage girl.
I thought she looked like 30 years old sometimes. Like when she
Yeah.
like had her hood off, I'm like, she does not look
I
like
thought
a
it was an adult.
Oh, okay,
the
here we
whole
go.
time.
So the film's original director, Sean McGregor, was fired from it after a few weeks of difficult filming, and most of the footage that he directed was considered to be unusable. Okay. As a result, much of its final version had to be redone under the director. Okay. So apparently what he shot was not usable, so it makes it even worse that it even seems like it's a
I
fucking
noticed
mess.
it didn't say anything about the underage girl in there.
Okay, so unknown actress Gail Smale, Sister Hannah, was alleged to be the film's original director Sean McGregor's underage girlfriend at the time of its production, and her character's nun habit costume with rose-colored glasses was partially an attempt to conceal her natural albinism.
That's fucking wild.
Albiism. I can't even say that word properly. This film reminds her, or it's her only credit. So,
jeez, dude.
I just don't know why you would want to hide that.
So there's
And
not really a lot of
also-
information on what the fuck was going on there, but like most of his material that he shot was unusable. So what the like? So it's just poorly made.
Well, there goes your murder. There's your murder scene.
It's amazing.
Yeah, what if the only thing?
Oh,
shot
yeah,
was
that's
that
a good-
murders? It was so unusable.
They have to slow
They had
down.
to speed it.
Yeah,
It goes on for
Yeah.
18 minutes. It's like fuck.
That's gotta be it.
Dude, that's
hell yeah.
that. We just solved the fucking mission.
They did say
bro.
most. It's exactly what it was. It was that one scene for sure.
Yeah.
all but
I,
five
mean,
minutes.
I guess we can use this. We can't. We don't want to do the effects again.
Jesus, bro. That's funny.
Wow, what an unfortunate name for that girl.
Slap
Gail
a Phil-
Smale.
Gail Smale, man. Oh,
That's
Gail
her parents'
Smale.
fault, dude. I always blame like when I see these dumb names, I'm like, you know what? Your parents need to have fucking child services come visit.
it's like the wedding
Yeah.
singer. She's gonna be Julia Gulia. Yeah, so Julia Gulia.
I watched fucking
Doesn't fuck
Hell Comes to Frogtown earlier today, and his name's Sam Hell. Like that dude's parents need a fucking.
Why in the
He
fuck are you
praised.
watching that?
What do you mean? Because Frogtown 2 is a 92 movie, and I've never seen Hell Comes to Frogtown, so it's like
There's a
might as
sequel
well.
to that? I didn't even know
There's,
there was a
Hell yeah.
sequel.
there's more than one sequel to
Oh
that,
my god.
and they look progressively worse.
Oh
But
god.
Hell
and
Comes
I
to
own
Frogtown. I love that movie, man. Roddy Piper
Yeah,
is
no,
my
that
fucking
movie-
boy, man.
Hell Comes to Frogtown's good, but I briefly looked into the sequels and does not seem like they hold the same.
I
It's
actually
the
didn't even
same
know there was a
filmmaker,
sequel to
right?
it. Crazy.
It might be.
I
don't
think
even
it
know.
is.
Like, but yeah, that movie's pretty fucking fun, by the way. Hell Comes to Frogtown. Roddy Piper is pretty great, and also it's fucking weird.
It is weird. Aren't they
It's
just
a
like
weird
using him
movie.
as like kind of like a dick slave or something?
Yeah, he's just like a stud. You know what I mean? He's supposed to
Uh-huh.
impregnate all the
Fuck.
wasteland women because after the nuclear war, most women are infertile. So, and most men are infertile as well. And they find him, and he's like got the apparently loads of a champion. So
Hey, it's got
they,
the secret
they
sauce.
enslave him to impregnate women, but they got to venture into Frogtown because that's where these women are being captive. and there's actual frog people from the mutations as well. And also I'm watching it and I'm like, how the fuck did this get to script to shot to fucking finished to distributed? Like,
Those
I could
producers
see
had to be on
I
coke.
could see the script part coming about, but who fucking said yes to this?
Yeah, who's signing off these checks?
Yeah, like I mean, it's a pretty fun movie, like cult wise, but I cannot see how people would think that that would have been profitable based on like what the fuck it's about. I'm like what fucking acid were these people on that wrote that shit?
People just loved post-apocalyptic movies in the 80s.
They
They
did.
probably just like didn't even care like what it was,
Yeah.
as long as it happened after a nuke.
Well, you blame Mad Max for all that shit, though, man, because everything after was
Yeah.
just a ripoff, right? So
I think even like the third Frogtown movie is called like Max the Frog.
There's
Or some
3 of
shit.
them.
Jesus
I think
Christ.
there's 3, and I might have read that there's a spin-off or something.
damn, dude, I didn't even know there was an actual sequel to the first one, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, the third one's from 96 and the second one's from 92.
Man,
That's
dude.
cool.
So it must not come up under horror, right? Because I never saw that when I was doing.
No,
I don't know.
it's
I did a
action
lot
science
of-
fiction.
Right.
I did a
Frogtown
lot
2.
of research for my 92. I ended up with like 112 titles or something.
Right.
And I pulled stuff from like fucking Man Bites Dog wasn't listed as horror
Dude,
either.
how that's wild. Because I searched for thriller and I searched for drama and I searched for horror all individually. It's listed as comedy crime. Like,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah. It's fucking that blew my mind actually.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, when I added that to the mix, I was like, Jesus, this year is like really good.
anyway,
Y'all got
ratings?
anything else on this one?
No, I think I'm pretty good.
Yep.
All right, JP, start us off. Rating.
Yeah, I actually like this film quite a bit. I do think it's a bit messy and there's some problems with it, specifically that slow-mo stuff. But it's sleazy. The backstories almost made me like the movie even more because it's like just wild. It's like that's one of my favorite things about like discovering movies, even though I was aware of this movie, but just like sort of learning about like the wild histories is always fun and stuff. And I think that it makes the like lore of this movie even more special. Like this feels like a film that Tarantino would talk about or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10, which might be a little high, but I really liked it.
Tyler, what do you got?
6.
Tony.
Higher than I thought, honestly.
I'm gonna give it a 7. I really liked it. Like, it's like 88 minutes. It just fucking flies by. There's barely a fucking plot. It's just people going to a crazy just a big house on the woods to fucking have a vacation. Kids show up, fuck shit up, credits roll. Like, I don't know. It's just a good time.
It's just a bunch of fucking privileged white people bitching about their positions and their jobs, man.
Yeah, I was having a great time watching these people just get fucking killed by these little psychos.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a messy fucking movie, man. I like it though, man. I like the fact that it takes place in the winter time, so we get a little bit
That's
of
cool,
winter
too.
atmosphere. I like that shit, man, because we don't get a lot of stuff outside, but when we do, it's cool. It's reminiscent of being like, oh, it's winter. It's fucking cool, man. I always like that shit.
There's
man.
another winter killer kid film called The Children.
Yes,
Yeah, I've seen that.
which I adore. And I
Yeah,
have
that's a good one.
apparently an insane theory on that film, but fuck you
Yeah,
guys, man.
we were not getting into that again.
No, I think it's just a theory. I'm not saying I'm right.
I
but
don't even remember what it was, but it doesn't matter.
no, it doesn't matter. Devil times 5. Got it right this time.
Yep.
We never brought up the I guess the house helper, the slave,
Especially handicapped dude.
The Simple Jack.
the simple Jack. Yeah, his death in the film. I actually wanted to ask JP about it. Were you liking that one? Because that's kind of a booby trap.
That poor bastard.
That is straight up booby trap. Like that guy got fucked up,
I
man.
said in booby traps.
It's that
Damn
booby
it.
traps.
That's one person that didn't deserve what they got.
No, he
Yeah.
legitimately was like fucking.
Yeah, he was like the only likable character in the movie. He just gets knocked off. Like,
Dude, that character
I would have preferred an ending with him walking away with the children holding hands.
that actually would have made
Fuck
sense because
yeah.
he kind of was a child. He was kind of like a
Yeah.
child himself, right?
Yeah,
like,
didn't
his
even give him a
character-
chance to explain
You
himself.
can live with us now.
Like, I don't know who thought this was a good idea to write this in the film, but like have this slow guy and you know the hot mom, whatever you want to call her, lovely, like all hitting on him and shit. Like I wasn't even sure if she was legitimately hitting on him or if she was just fucking with him.
Nah, that woman was horny.
But I think that she was legitimately hitting on him, which was fucking
Yeah.
even more insane because she knows
She
that
was.
he's slow and like fuck. It was so like it was sleazy as fuck and like oh my god, it's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
she was homie hopping from Simple Jack to like literally
Homie
every
hopping.
guy.
Simple
She
Jack.
probably would even like
Hopping.
went for the kids too if she had a chance. Didn't she?
Which
She
would have
was
been
kind of like
fucking
weird.
super weird considering half the kids in the film were legitimately her biological
Yeah,
kids.
hers.
That's the weirdest thing, like how sleazy her character was compared to the fact that like her two small children are just like right there.
I could not stop thinking about the fact that like the scene where she showed her boobs in like the beginning of the film, I was like, okay. And then it happens again a couple times. I'm like, her fucking
And then-
kids are in this movie. Like, did they never see this? Like, that's her fucking mom.
If I ever
Yeah.
if I ever meet Leif Garrett in real life, I'm just gonna ask him what it was like working with his mom on Devil Times 5.
Right.
He's just gonna be like, you know that? You know about that?
Like, don't get it construed. Like, I get it. Like, actors are actors. They show their boobs and whatever, and they got kids and stuff. But like, I'm talking about the fact that like her kids were on the set and like they were in a film where they might want to see later, you know, and they're gonna end up seeing their mom's boob. Like, you know,
Well, they were dragging her
ask
naked
ask
body.
Argento why, bro.
Scoozy.
this is an American thing. Like, I get it in Europe. It's like nudity and like that type of stuff apparently is a little bit different, but like in North America, it's just awkward.
Maybe
I
they
think
were
it's
hippies
awkward
or
everywhere,
something.
man.
Yeah.
I don't
think
know.
our generals just
I don't know. People always correct me on that shit too, but I'm like, you know, I don't know.
What is your rating then?
3. No, I'm just kidding. I give this one 7 too. It's fun.
Okay.
It's fun. It definitely looked really good. Like, I mean, I couldn't even fucking believe when I got this in the mail and I was like, oh shit, it's a 4K.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe this movie made it to 4K because I have like the old Code Red DVD and I'm like, oh, whatever.
I actually didn't even get to watch the 4K,
Holy
unfortunately.
fuck. I didn't even think that's the scene I was talking about.
hmm
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's on the back. I didn't even realize that.
I had to watch the Blu-ray.
It's on the fuck. Why?
Ugh.
You just got all serious. Why?
Why?
No, because I didn't have access to a 4K player like during the time that I had to prepare for this. So I had to watch it on Blu-ray.
Where the fuck were you? Like in a different country?
Well, I
So, like,
was
don't.
dealing with the family issue that I had, so I wasn't.
Oh,
like,
okay. Okay.
you know about that, but
Right. Right.
yeah, so I wasn't like around my 4K. I was actually had a 4K player, but the TV I was watching on was just 1080p. Didn't have 4K capabilities, but the
Right.
Blu-ray still looked pretty good.
Oh, I imagine.
I guess that's release of the John. It's a tough week.
Release of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's yours?
Honestly, dude, I think I'm gonna go with as much as I liked Hell's Trap, I think I gotta go with Bloodbath in the House of Death just because it was a complete surprise. Like I had never even heard of it, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, Vincent Price. And I thought it was just gonna be one of the like quick, stupid Vincent Price movies that he just did to work, you know what I mean? And he wasn't really involved, but it was I'm a vote for that, I guess.
Tyler, what do you got?
Although I really liked Thieves Like Us.
He's gonna go with the
I'm gonna-
Criterion movie he reviewed.
I'm gonna have to go with The poetry of Lee Chang Dong. This was a film movement release, and it is for the four unreleased, I believe they're unreleased films of Lee Chang Dong.
We didn't cover this shit. What are you talking about?
But this is my pick of the month. I was gonna watch a movie from this, but they fucked up and they sent them the wrong transfer, so now I'm waiting on a replacement disc for the first movie. I didn't want to watch them out of order. But yeah, this guy's like, this is a huge release. This guy, there's two movies in here that like I want to save them for the end because they're supposed to be like something special.
I didn't even buy that thing.
Yeah, this guy's a really like well-respected filmmaker. He's like one of like he's a South Korean filmmaker that started out in the late 90s. I've seen one of his films called Secret Sunshine, and it is like one of the most like terribly depressing movies you will ever see.
What kind of films is he making here?
Like just I know nothing about fucking movie. So the plot. So this is like
it sounds like shit. I don't want to watch that. I hate watching
like
sad
in
movies.
that box set. Like what kind of movies
in that
does
box
this guy
set?
make?
Depressing movies. Depressing Asian poetic movies.
Jesus, you make it sound unappealing.
Dude, you are so confusing to me because like you like so much shit that like I can't get down with like depressed. I don't want to watch depressing
I
shit.
love depressing movies. I really do.
The one
what the fuck is wrong with you guys? I love to laugh. I love to fucking like have fun and shit. Like when I'm watching depression shit, I get in a lull, man.
Because people ask me the same thing about horror. So my favorite thing about cinema is I like to feel something, whether it's laugh, sad, depressed.
That's a good point. Fair enough.
Excited. So anytime I get any of those emotions, I like it. So the depressing one is just another one of those emotions. Anytime I could feel something in a movie, that's like at the core. Although I like to just have fun with movies like Hell's Trap and stuff. At the core of why I'm a Cinemas fan is I like to feel things when watching movies.
Well, then you should watch Mysterious Skin then, because you'll definitely feel something.
Mysterious Skin's so
I'm
good.
sure I will.
So good.
But same thing why I always put heavy emphasis on scares. Like if a movie can scare me, then I give it a lot of credit because that's one of the reasons I started watching film. Because I love that shit. But so what do you guys vote for? Since Tyler's an idiot.
Tony, what do you got?
Honestly, I'd vote Love on Delivery. That was just a really nice surprise. Probably a really close second to Bloodbath on the whatever the fuck it's called, because that was also a huge surprise. Like both those, honestly, like 1A, 1B, like two like really good releases, and I would be surprised if either of those don't make my top 10.
Man, I can't even fucking Tony stole my thunder here, but I can't decide, man. Both these movies are so fucking much fun. Like, and it's funny because of like they're the same but different.
Mm-hmm.
They're comedies at the core. You know, one's a little bit more bloody than the other one. Fuck, I don't know, man. I laughed my ass off in Delivery, man. I thought that movie I was pissing myself, man. But I gotta go with Bloodbath. Because I'm gonna take this one right here because Vincent Price fucking shocked the shit out of me in this. It was literally, you've never seen Vincent Price ever like this. It's too bad we didn't get more of them, but we get enough. It's good. But these are, like you said, 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
All together, I mean,
so
I didn't
fucking
watch
fun. Tony's
movie, but I trust you guys that it's pretty good. And like, I fucked with Tyler's movie, and fucking, I like my movie a lot, and I like Moodz' movie a lot, and the fucking main was good too. So I think it's like August is the best month this year.
Yeah, I mean, the only movie was Thieves Like Me for me, man, and it was the biggest letdown I've had probably all year because I love Robert Altman, and that movie just did shit for me, but bore the fucking piss out of me. Like I literally I was yawning and snoring and like awake, and oh my god, I just wanted something to happen, and then we got the end, which was okay, but.
Yeah, I totally, when I was watching it, I was like, "Oh, this is definitely a Tyler movie." I like this.
I like the ending was. I mean, it just felt like it was Bonnie and Clyde, really.
Mhm.
But
Um,
I mean, the
all
real
right.
life. I mean, you know where it's going. But
So next month, you guys have your picks.
so next month, yes, yeah, that is a good thing. All right. So next month, Tony, what do you got next month?
Asylum of Terror from VH Shitfest or VHS Hitfest, whatever you decide to call them.
And
Good
what is
fucking
that
point, by the
movie?
way, Tony, because I just reviewed one of those the other day, and I call it VH Shitfest.
I like saying VH Shitfest.
I
Yeah,
think that's how.
that's
But
what I
if you
say.
look at the logo, it's VHS, and then like VHS Fest.
Yeah, it is VH Shitfest. They were YouTubers,
Yeah, VHS,
right?
VH
Like years,
Shitfest.
like 10 years ago, they were YouTubers. They collected VHS.
Yeah, yeah,
So did
I know,
they
I know
call
the dudes.
themselves VH Shitfest?
Yeah,
Okay, good. So
That's what
that's
I
what it is
say.
I was
then.
Yeah.
just making sure that's like how I couldn't remember
yeah.
that,
I'm
but
pretty sure it's the same fucking dudes.
I'm pretty sure it is too. Yeah,
Yeah, because that was their YouTube channel, VH Shitfest.
yeah.
That's cool.
But
Dope
if
that
you
Yeah.
they
look
have a
at the logo,
label.
the VHS is circled, and then it's like Fest.
Yeah, I thought it was
It
like a
Fest.
kind of
It's
an
like
ambiguous name. I kind of liked it.
yeah.
So what's up
JP.
with that movie? What is that movie?
So it's basically, I don't know if it's shot on video or not, but it's basically like a Halloween set slasher from the late 90s where people are going to a haunt and getting picked off. I guess it's kind of like Haunted Wayne, except more late 90s
That
flavored.
sounds good. I'm
It's a
down.
Halloween film, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I did pick that up, so I'll probably tag along and watch that one. Me, so I originally was gonna go with this film from Saturn's Core called Flesh Freaks, right? And just like some shot on video, even though it was mini DV, which I don't think is video, but it's not tape, right?
It's a weird little mixture. It's like digital tape.
Digital tape. Okay.
It's weird because it's kind of like a digital camera, but you're also filming it on a small tape. It's kind of like a weird little hybrid situation.
It's almost
Yeah.
like a DV then, in a sense, digital video.
So
Because like they shot on tapes, right? Digital video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was gonna do that one because it just sounded like kind of interesting. Basically, this kid in 1998 went with his parents to Belize, and while he was there, he was like, "Wow, there's a lot of cool architecture here. I'm gonna make a movie while we're here." So he like made a movie, and I was like, "Okay, this sounds like some fun bullshit." But then I looked at the fucking features, dude. You got an audio commentary, you got an archival commentary, you got an interview with the director, outtakes, still gallery, and then you got a bonus movie from 2003 called Kill Them and Eat Them, which was his follow up. It says 2023, but I'm pretty sure it was 2003. And that has a commentary as well. And then there's a featurette about that movie, and then that movie has deleted scenes. And then also, you got like 7 short films from the dude, too. And I'm like, I don't know if I can
Gosh.
watch all
So
this
we
shit.
should just, while you review this, we'll just like not talk for an hour and a half.
Dude, I was like, what the
You just
fuck?
go to town.
So I don't know if I'm
Maybe it's
gonna
your own
do
show.
that. Now, if that second bonus movie is like 20 minutes or something, I guess that's not
It doesn't
as
tell you how
crazy.
long it is.
Not in the description there, but
Yes.
I
the
assume
first
it's a
movie's
feature if it's not lumped in with all the
if
other
it
shorts.
right, if it says bonus movie and not in
Yeah.
the other shorts,
Right.
that makes me think it's a full movie.
Right.
So I'm not sure. I might still do that, but I could go to Go Fish as well because I doubt any of you guys are picking that. So I'll decide. It'll be sort of a bit of a surprise. I'm undecided right now.
Okay. Well, I have you labeled as Go Fish, but whatever.
Okay.
Tyler.
All right. I'm doing from Connie, Patrick Tam, Car Wings, My Heart Is That Eternal Rose. It's a 1989 Hong Kong crime romance action movie. If you're familiar with like Wong Kar-wai, it's like that type of movie. I've never heard of it. I've never seen this movie, but it's kind of like a notable movie in like that scene of like Hong Kong cinema. So I kind of was happy to jump on that when I
Who
saw
put that
it
one
coming
out?
out. Connie.
I even never heard of them.
I feel like we're reviewing too many fucking romance and crime movies and
It's like it's a blend of it. Like I'm trying.
Tyler,
like,
don't you want to venture out of your normal and try something new?
dude,
month?
seriously,
I-
pick something else, man. Come
Like,
on.
What have I ever done a Hong Kong crime movie?
I just this style of movie, like you, I noticed you haven't picked like the cheesy shot on video slasher ever. You know,
Yeah,
That is true.
Let's pick those. I'll leave those
like
to you.
hey, at least I've been going all over the place, dude. I've hit western, I've hit like rape revenge, I've hit fucking shot on
Alright,
video
so
trash.
what did I hit?
I hit.
so
What
I
did I hit
got-
this time?
Yeah, I did. I guess it.
It's all art
I
house
just
shit,
no. The last dude, Thieves Like Us is not an art house movie.
dude. It's definitely more highbrow.
Like I don't think that makes it an art house movie though.
No, not necessarily, not really, but it's more artistic.
Robert Altman could just direct a movie.
Listen, do whatever you want. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
maybe venture out every once in a while. You
Has
might,
there been
you
a
might
month-
have fun.
Oh, this is great. This is great.
Has there been a month that we haven't had a Hong Kong review? It seems like we have at least one.
There's a lot of
every
Hong
single
Kong,
month
like,
this
spread
year.
across.
Well, it's good
I
that
think-
we got some foreign stuff in there, man, because
Well,
I
dude,
love
a
it.
couple years ago they started doing Hong Kong, and they just fucking went full blown.
I love
you know?
Hong Kong. Hong
Yeah,
Kong
me
is
too,
one of my
man.
favorites.
I am all about
Like,
this
their
fucking
sense of
Hong
humor,
Kong
man,
shit that
is
they're dropping on
fucking-
us.
it just fucking works for me, man. Like, Love on Delivery, man. Oh my god, that shit was fucking hilarious.
It was so good in such a lighthearted way.
But it just like every joke seemed to hit. It just hit
Mhm.
and hit and hit. It was like it was amazing. So for myself, going polar opposite of fucking Tyler over there, Mr. Criterion.
This movie's streaming on Criterion right now.
Of course it is.
I'm
gonna do a
that
film-
wasn't an influence.
I'm gonna do a
No,
film
I pulled it
called
up and
Flesh Freaks. I'm gonna do the Flesh Freaks from 2000.
Wait, what? Hold on, that's not what you fucking said, bro.
What do you mean?
You said you were picking Delirium.
Mm-mm. No, I'm doing Flesh Freaks.
No, I said I was doing Flesh Freaks because I was gonna do Delirium, but you picked it.
you know,
What?
Delirium.
I'm
So why
not
don't you
doing
do
fucking
Delirium.
you're doing Go Fish, man.
I thought you said you were doing Delirium.
Mm-mm.
I'm looking. I don't trust you. I'm fact checking.
I never said I was officially doing Delirium. I wanted to do.
Well, I'm doing fucking Delirium then.
What about Go Fish?
I don't want to do Go Fish.
But that's the one you said you were gonna do.
Dude, you said you were doing Delirium. I
But
swear
you
to God.
never said Flesh Freaks though.
I never said. Yes, I did. Bro, hold on.
Right now, like you just said
No,
Flesh
no,
Freaks
no.
right
In
now.
the chat, dog. When we were doing our picks.
I'm talking about right fucking now. You never said Flesh Freaks.
What did I say? What was the? What wasn't that what I was talking about?
Just a
What?
minute ago,
Yeah, just a minute ago you were talking about
Yeah.
Flesh Freaks.
you were talking about Go Fish and shit.
No, I wasn't. When I listed all those special features,
He gave
he was
like
talking
a
about
complete
Flesh
review of Flesh Freaks before he even watched it.
that was all Flesh Freaks, bro. Did you think I was talking about Go Fish
Yeah.
with all those features?
Okay. Well, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, man.
What was the
No,
bonus
go ahead, do
feature
Flesh Freaks,
movie?
dog. That's fine. Yeah, look right here. He said, "I'll do Delirium," and I said, "I'll do Flesh Freaks or Go Fish."
Or Go Fish.
Yeah, because you were picking Delirium, so I was like, "I'll pick one of those," and then I saw all those fucking features, and I was like,
I only
"You
said I was
you
going
know
to
what,
do
dude?
Delirium because I was pissed off that I couldn't do fucking the other one.
No, you go ahead and do fucking. Oh, sound terrible. You do Flesh Freaks. That's fine. I like that. Make sure you watch all the features.
You know
too.
what? I want to do Flesh Freaks because it makes sense because it's Canadian film. So why not do it?
So do Flesh Freaks. I'm either gonna do Delirium or Go Fish. Probably Delirium.
See, you're
but
still
maybe
undecided. What the fuck, man? You can't be
I-
taking all the films.
yeah, You call it dibs on all the films.
Yeah,
Bro, the
I
first
need to look
review.
at-
The
listen,
first
if-
review here on IMDb is so funny, man. The headline says Canadians should stick with with werewolf films, if anything. 1 out of 10.
I
What
thought you
fucking
were
werewolf
I'm not gonna
movie?
read. I'm not gonna
Ginger
read the review
Snaps.
though. I never do
I
it.
thought you were gonna say Canadians should stick to hockey. I was ready to laugh.
Ah.
So wait, what the fuck? We weren't doing. We were doing The Howling, and we're not now, right?
We were
Yeah.
always doing Bloodline as a feature review. You guys picked that.
I'd rather
No,
do Bloodline.
motherfucker. I'm looking at the chat right now. Mood says so. Halloween 2, Howling 2 main review question mark, and I said sure, and you said Coolio, and then you said titties, and then I don't know. So we changed it to something else later. Apparently,
We changed
You
it to
have-
Bloodline.
Yeah, I think if you scroll down a little bit, we like talked about it a little bit
oh
more.
yeah, you're the one that changed it because I remember now. You
Yeah,
said
and
that,
then I said,
oh, we
"Fuck
did
you, guys."
Howling 2 on 22 shots. Let's do something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I know after
Yeah.
that we talked about Bloodline and that movie on the crazy or the
Oh yeah, you
Cortania
suggested doing
set.
the Cortania set, which I would like to do that movie, but
See, originally I
Kinda
said
wanted to-
do Crucible of Terror, and you're like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do one film from that fucking set. I'm like, they're
I
they're
don't.
unrelated
It feels
though,
weird
but they're
because I feel like
unrelated.
we can't. I know, but it's like it's a release. We're doing releases here.
There's nothing wrong with the sample size to kind of like whet their appetite.
True. But then Tyler wants to do Bloodline because it's probably
And that's
I
how we
was,
got changed to Bloodline. So
Well,
we're doing Bloodline as the
like
feature
that
review.
that was the one I lobbied for. We were gonna change it, but I was ready to just watch my Halloween 2 Blu-ray. Like I was fine.
I'm cool with Bloodline.
It seems like
Sure.
no one's seen it
We
in
could do
the
Bloodline.
cast. Is,
I don't even know what it is. I'll do it.
I'm watching
It's
them
some
all
like
anyway.
cult,
So.
it's like some cult like horror. It's like I guess it's supposedly kind of like an American like a giallo style like American film.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
got
there's-
like a bunch.
There's
So
like a
it's-
two
so
and a
it's-
half hour long TV cut on it too.
It's undecided if I'm doing Flesh Freaks or Go
No,
Fish.
you're
at this
doing
point.
you're doing Flesh Freaks, dog. Because I wanna hear
At this
about all
point,
the
I think I
special
want to do.
features.
I actually want to
Do
do
Go
Go Fish
Fish.
because this might be
Go
actually be quite
Fish.
fun. Whatever, man. I'll do Flesh. I mean, it just made sense. I mean, Flesh Freaks is Canadian.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of special features too.
Sweet.
I want to hear about all of them because I'm
I will.
genuinely curious what the fuck all that is. It's like so much stuff.
Right.
I'll probably end up
special features.
watching.
You gotta
the-
admit though,
the
that's
bonus
pretty
movie.
crazy to have that many features on a film like that.
Yeah.
Saturn's Core loads the fuck out of their discs.
They do, man. They really do. Yeah. All right.
Well,
Well,
this one's got a video essay on Cat 3 thrillers. This is a Cat 3 movie?
Is it?
That would be fun. No way.
What, the
That would be
Bloodline?
awesome. No, my movie.
oh, they were talking about Bloodline. I was like, what the fuck?
I forgot what he picked already.
My heart is that eternal rose. I mean, Wong Kar Wai does have a.
We're
Cat
all gonna
3
show
movie.
up watching fucking random shit, and Tony's the only one that's like got his locked in.
Actually, I just like switch it up at the last minute. I don't even say anything and don't even like give a hint to what I'm doing.
I don't think. Well,
Well,
I didn't
Tony's
buy
gonna be like, I
Tyler's
watched
movie,
Go
so I'm not
Fish.
watching that.
I'm just like, dude, it's 2 hours long, man.
There's a 2.5 hour TV cut according to Tony as well.
It's got a crazy cast in it, though. Fuck.
Let's do it.
It's got
different.
a Morricone score too. Can't
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
that bad.
I mean, I think that like I like trying.
Maybe
to
we
take
maybe we should
different-
do Flesh Freaks at the main review.
Well, the thing is, I'm gonna get
Fuck yeah.
like I don't know if I could get like another release in time for the next show.
Oh yeah,
because-
that's right. Because you only buy the main.
Yeah.
Right. Now we'll go with that. JP's doing Go Fish, and we're good.
Bro, you want me to watch Go Fish so bad, I might just do it.
Both of you guys
like-
need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
you
if
guys
someone's
watch
doing it,
this.
I'm gonna watch it because
Oh yeah, I guess I kind of need to tell you guys so you can watch the movie too.
Yeah.
Okay, fuck it. Let's do Go Fish.
Go.
Well,
Fish.
we didn't order Go Fish, so
I
we're
mean,
not
I was
watching
gonna, I'm
it.
gonna have it anyway, so I'm gonna watch it. So that's cool. But
If I
I
can
won't be
find it
watching
somewhere, I'll
Tyler's
watch it.
again. Fuck.
It's gonna be rad. It's gonna be like Chunky Express or like Fallen Angels, like a Yakuza movie. Well, that's not a
Alright.
Yakuza movie.
You
It's
are
Hong
so
Kong.
elevated. You are so elevated.
I picked
It's
a
so much
Hong
better than
Kong
us.
crime movie. What's crazy about that?
It just, my heart is that eternal rose.
That's how these movies are. Like it's
I
Wong
mean,
Kar
I
Wai
kind
is
of
a
I
genre.
like that title.
That title
Yeah,
just
like
defers
dude,
me
like
big time, man.
the
Oh, dude,
titles
I'm
have
turning left when
the
you
the
should be going
title
right.
is a reference to Yasujiro Uzo's Tripod. That's it. It has nothing else to do in the movie.
I just pulled a
That's
DayZ
all
there.
these
That
movies are.
title, ugh, I'm not watching it
Yeah.
because of that title.
Like Wong Kar Wai's movies from this era are like Chungking Express, Fallen Angels, As Tears Go By. They're just like random titles that they pick on these movies.
All right,
All right,
boys.
guys, that is going to conclude episode 9 here on the SYN Bin podcast. I'd like to thank all my co-hosts, Tyler, JP.
Don't forget about entering
Tony?
the contest to win one copy of Delirium, the photo of Gioa.
Something like that.
Gioi.
Gaioya.
Nailed it.
Gioia.
Joya.
So
Joya.
is somebody watching that? Because I have that on Blu-ray too.
Oh,
I don't
fuck.
know.
Watch it, it's
I
cool.
wanted to watch it because I like Lamberto Bava a bit, and
I've
you know,
seen it. I actually did not like that movie the last time I saw it.
Delirium, really? Oh, dude, the
Yeah.
main actress. Oh, she's got some nice boobies in that
That
one.
was funny. Like somebody liked a review I wrote of it like 2 years ago today. So I clicked on that. All my review was like, that's a big titty Italian chick, but that's about it.
That's how I always remember about the movie too. So
I
sexist, so bad.
I think if they announce some Italian stuff in October, anything Italian, when we cover it in November, we should definitely do that.
That's one thing that we have not. It's been all Hong Kong. It's been,
We've done Italian,
films,
but not
really.
as like a feature. Well,
Yeah.
we did Maya and Spectres.
Yeah.
And Witch
Yeah.
Story.
Which story?
Yeah, that would be awesome if they. Oh man,
Yeah, I'm hoping there's something Italian in October because it would be perfect for Italian Horror Month.
some more gems like that though. Oh my god,
Yeah.
they haven't released that much this year, but what they have released has been. It's been bung.
Well, I definitely have. After this month, I've definitely got like this year has went up a good bit for me, just because it was a solid month. Just curious what October is going to look like. But yeah, anyway, I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm hungry too, man. All right, dudes, we're out of
Eat a
here.
dick.
Check you guys in episode 10. Deuces. All right, guys.